out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
It's gonna be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing if my burglar alarm starts ringing.
What's good? You are to an Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man, Kill. I got my squad with me in effect today. I got my brother Jens out of New Orleans. What's going on, good brother?
What's happening, Kill? Happy to be back. See everybody on the panel. It's gonna be a good one tonight.
No doubt. I got my brother Kel, Queens representative. What's going on, good brother?
Always good to be here.
No doubt. My brother Vegas out of Brooklyn. What's going on, good brother?
What up, man? I'm back again. I didn't know what to say.
No doubt. We got my brother West Coast Vern. What's going on, good brother?
What it do? How y'all doing?
Alright, man. Everything is everything. Y'all know me. Before we jump right into it, real quick, I want to salute Veg and Jens' podcast. Can you talk a little bit about your podcast and how that jumps off?
Sure, go ahead, Jens.
Hey, if you want me to do it, I'll try it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So anyway, Vegas hit me up a while back and said, look, I got an idea for a podcast. We're going to call it Hip Hop Twitter. It's going to have to do with crazy takes off of Twitter that we see that you know, maybe need to be brought out and talked about. And so at first I was shocked that he asked me to do it, but happy that he did. And you know, we second season in. We got the second episode of the second season done and out, and you know, we got a lot of things in store, and it's fun as hell. If anybody listens to it, you're gonna enjoy it. So
I do. Let me add one thing that Jens left out. I never know what the tweets are.
Right.
So say them shits in the episode. That is the first time I've heard it.
Yep, that's exactly
Typically,
right.
My reaction is the last couple of episodes I've been stunned. So you might hear silence like, who the fuck said that? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, it's really fun. You know what I'm saying? He has a great sense of humor. And it's nice and short, quick, so you kind of get the information or the content really quick and you move on with your life. So.
That's dope, and that's a dope concept too. Because basically, what I've been calling Twitter recently is a fucked up time machine. Because people are getting on Twitter and just changing fucking history. Like, it's literally like you could just get in a time machine and be like, you know what, fuck it, never happened. You know what I mean? Like. And I'm like, y'all niggas really get the fuck over here every day and try your damnedest to change history. Like it's nothing. It's a fucked up time machine. West Coast Vern, talk a little bit about Idle Mind. Are we ever gonna finish it? Because are we capping it now?
No, man. I feel like even after we do all this tonight, you gonna be like, hey, check your inbox.
I'm done on 10. I'm done.
You're done, I'm done.
Yo, here's the funny part. This nigga texted me like, nigga, we are done. And I was like, I don't know, nigga. I just made something. So you may want to fucking wait one more. You may want to wait one more second before you say we done, because this shit right here. Did you fuck with that beat I sent you last night?
It's already getting recorded after we finish this tonight, man. I'm in here.
Let me explain something to y'all. Watch. I don't talk shit a lot about my shit. I mean, I think I'm a dope producer. I'll say this. If this beat said just produced by Just Blaze, y'all niggas would be jumping out the fucking window. Okay? Let's just put it that way. That if that shit said produced by Just Blaze, and I say this a lot about me and Veg. Me and Veg have a lot of dope songs. If y'all haven't tapped in, check out VegasWorldInc.bandcamp.com. I mean, him as a solo artist, dope discography. But me, him as Vegas and Kill, we've got some bangers. My favorite is Song for You. I always say if that shit was produced by Pete Rock and CL Smooth was saying the exact same rhymes Vegas was saying, niggas would have been losing their fucking mind. So, you know, again, I just need y'all to tap into some of this indie music out here because it's a lot better than some of your favorite artists. And I ain't just saying that. I don't talk the talk. If I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna definitely back that shit up. So, but enough about that.
And one thing about, just for the people, the idle mind, I don't want to hear that. If you like a drift, trust me, they're not. What's that?
Kill. That's the beat that you posted yesterday, or?
Nah, that beat we haven't even recorded to. That may not even make the album because we want that to be something bigger and it may not make the time. We want. That's why I said we on our Kanye joint. The shit is dropping Juneteenth, so it's dropping. So we may be recording to the midnight hour, but you know we ain't pushing nothing back. So we just gonna Kanye niggas and just be like, well, here's newer version of it and all kinds of shit like that. You know? Because you know that's how Kanye was with Pablo. It was like, here's the first Pablo. Nope, we added 2 more songs to Pablo. Nope, we took 4 songs off and added 8. So that nigga had like 8 versions of Pablo floating out there before, you know, it got done. But whatever we drop on the Juneteenth is that's it. But, you know, we going to get it going. So this week we are doing, if you follow us, if you rock with us, Apartment 5B, we always like to do salute shows. Want to give the people who we love, the artists that we adore, we want to give them their flowers before they pass away. Because a lot of times with hip hop legends, we don't talk about them until they pass. You know what I mean? And one thing that I'm loving, I can stand on is, you know, when Marky D died, it wasn't like, oh, yo, let's talk to Fat Boy. I always talk about the Fat Boys. Always talk about them. Always talk about Houdini before Ecstasy passed away. Like, always talk about these people. So we always want to do these salute shows. So today's salute show, the brothers from Brentwood, Long Island. And for folk out there, if you don't know who I'm talking about, then this is the episode for you. Because when I say the brothers from Brentwood, Long Island, there should be no. I'll tell you this, and I don't want to back me up on it, and I don't want to go too far with the youth. Can you be a hip hop head if you don't know who the brothers from Brentwood, Long Island are? Can you be a hip hop head if you don't know that?
I think if you can't be of a certain age, I would say.
Okay.
Because you know some young cats, that's a long line of stuff they got to get through.
Right.
You got a song called "Brother from Brentwood, Long Island."
Right.
Yep. Because number one, there's not too many rappers from Brentwood, Long Island.
Right.
So, and here's the other hand. I said the brothers, so that's an S. We're gonna go to English class, so that means it's plural. So that means it's more than one. Right. So it's 2 people, not too many duos or groups. We're gonna talk about that from Brentwood, Long Island. But we're talking about EPMD, Eric and Parrish Making Dollars. We're gonna chop it up about the first time you heard EPMD. Your favorite album, your albums in order, your fave song off each album. Does EPMD have a top 5 discography ever? Time again, we're only talking about their first 4 albums. We are doing pre-breakup albums. So we're only capping it off on those 4 albums. We're going to talk about those 4 albums are 4 great albums. And is that one of the greatest 4 album runs in hip hop consecutively? So we're not doing the Jay-Z with Reasonable Doubt, Black Album, all of that. We're not skipping. We ain't doing no jumping over people and no shit like that. 4 consecutive albums. Who was the nicest MC in the group while they were a group? What were their top 5 beats? Because one thing, you can't have 4 incredible albums and not have banging beats. So we got to talk about their beats. I got a lot of accolades that EPMD I feel like they have. And then we're going to do a mixtape of what 12 EPMD songs would make your best of EPMD mixtape. And then the last thing we're going to leave you with is EPMD a top 5 hip hop group or duo ever? So I'm going to set us off. The first time I heard EPMD is 1987. I'm not sure if I'm in, every summer I spent in Fort Greene, Brooklyn, so I can't remember if it's in Brooklyn, if it's in Philly with Lady B, with Street B, was hearing It's My Thing and You're a Customer. You know what I mean? The original It's My Thing samples, the whole darn family's arrived. You know what I mean? So for me, this sample was made famous by EPMD. For other people, this sample would have been made famous by Jay-Z and Foxy Brown for Ain't No Nigga. So, but this is the sample right there for It's My Thing. Just incredible song. I remember it starts off with a helicopter, and you know, it kind of just went right into the song. And it's the funny thing is for years I thought they were saying God damn. But they're saying, but then when I finally started digging, the Mountain Breaker saying you out there. and I thought it was goddamn, because even Eric says in it, I won again. You lost, goddamn. It's my thing. So for years I was saying goddamn, and that ain't even a sample. But my thing was This My Thing. The B-side was Your Customer, which was crazy too. With the Time Keeps On Slipping, it had the ZZ Top sample. Just, it was different. And again, this is 1987, where everybody was different. At that time, a lot of people were sampling James Brown, It's My Thing, Hold On Family, Your Customer, ZZ Top. I don't know anybody who was sampling ZZ Top in 1987. So we can start right there. So that alone separated them from the sound of most of hip hop at that time. Yes. What about you? When was the first time? You're from New Orleans. I'm always interested to hear about different regions hearing music, because again, one of the things I love about Twitter and social media is you get to hear things from different people, because you think everybody was listening to something. You know what I mean? So like at the time when Illmatic dropped, I'm like, yo, the whole world's listening to Illmatic. I get on social media and I meet people from different places, and they're like, Nick will be like, nigga, nobody was listening to Illmatic in Atlanta. And I'm like, word? Like, you just think where you're at. So you being from New Orleans, West Coast Vern being from LA, I'm really interested to hear how you all heard this music. And again, I always want to shout out West Coast Vern, because I was out there with him and Ray, and these dudes know their East Coast hip hop. You know what I mean? And I think for me, never being able, the first time I went to LA was 3 years ago when I went and linked up with them, and it was amazing to me, because I think just from even the whole East Coast West Coast bullshit with Pac and Big, for some reason I just didn't think West Coast people really loved East Coast hip hop like that. But sitting down with Vern and Ray, I was just blown away on how much shit they do know about East Coast hip hop and the love they have for it. So again, one of the reasons why I do love Twitter, I do hate this fucked up time machine, but I do love it. You know, it's a gift and a curse. I've learned that life is a gift and a curse within everything. You know, you get a raise, it's a gift. Everybody want to borrow fucking money from you. So it's a gift and curse with everything. So it's the gift and curse of Twitter. But yes, New Orleans, when's the first time you hear EPMD?
Same thing. It's My Thing, the 12-inch. The thing about that was, all right, when we talk about early EPMD, we got to talk about Sleeping Bag Fresh Records. So,
shout right there to Cal's shirt. You see, I'm the only one. Me and Vega and Bird got on the bucket hats again. Hey, I keep coming back to you, bro. Can you be a hip hop head if you don't associate a bucket hat with EPMD of a certain age? Of a certain age. If you are 44 or older, I don't think you're a hip hop head if you don't associate the bucket hat with EPMD.
You can't be a hip hop head, because I know there's some people probably younger or probably older who look at Jay-Z as, oh, Jay-Z wore that. The bucket hat and the blueprint, but we know the fisherman hat.
That's right.
Fisherman hat, right. You know, that's what they were calling it. So,
right. So you got, we say, Bar?
There was 3 people, EPMD and Gilligan. That was it.
Right. That was it.
That's
right. With the bucket hat. Gilligan and EPMD. So for people watching, you got Jensen Vern with the bucket hat on. Kelvin's rocking the Sleeping Bag Records, which was EPMD's original record label, Sleeping Bag Records. Very dope record label. Did house. One of my favorite joints on Sleeping Bag Records. Y'all may remember Summertime by No Sarah. That was a banger back in the day, man. But all that to say, Sleeping Bag Records. I'm sorry, Jens. Keep going.
So like what I was saying was, Mantronics out at the same time. So we local record store, you had Mantronics, and you know, you can't, when you saw the koala, you already knew what it was if you was listening. So you see the koala on something else, you're like, damn, what is that? You get the cat to play it. It's My Thing. That shit went home. When I heard it, went home. So that was my first introduction to EPMD through Mantronics, through seeing the Sleeping Bag Records connection, and you know, listening to it. Let the cat in the record store play it, and you know, that was that. Been a fan ever since.
Yes, you bring up a great point about record labels that a lot of people younger now won't understand, because there really aren't any record labels like that. Like you said, you would see a Def Jam sticker and you would know, oh, okay, that's LL and the Beastie Boys. Who else do they have?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you said, you saw the koala, you looked at Mantronics and you said, okay, well, if they on Mantronics label, then it got to be something else that's dope. So that's how important your record label was to you at the time. You know what I mean? Because it's like it was almost like that was almost the cosign. You know, because it was like, well, if they signed Mantronics, if they signed EPMD, I don't know who they are, but they got to be dope or whatever like that. So, very dope point. Veg, what about you? Who was your first time hearing EPMD?
My first time hearing EPMD was on the radio back in the Mr. Magic days in NY. I would just listen, right? And, you know, they would just play mad shit. They wouldn't even back sell the song. So, you like, who was that? Like, you know what I'm saying? And, I just remember hearing Strictly Business, and I really liked the beat. I recognized the whole Bob Marley part, but I was just like, damn, who are these cats? I kind of like this joint. And obviously, when they dropped You Got to Chill and all of that, and my brother was a DJ, he got the first album, and I remember like, oh, that's that song, you know, I heard on the radio, and then it's got You Got to Chill, and I think that song was like my gateway into liking them as a group, because that was the first song I liked, and then they followed it up, and then when I heard the album, my brother had it, it was just like, damn, they're dope. And I had no idea at that point in time what the fuck was behind it, right? Like now I'm, you know, in all the hip hop fucking snobs, like, oh, that's a studio, that's a 1-2 machine or whatever the bullshit. Look, I'm like fucking 8-9 years old. I don't know. All I know is I like this record. I like these dudes, and they're older than me, so I'm kind of looking up to them at the same time. So, but Strictly Business must have been my favorite because they played it a lot on like Rap Attack and all that. So.
Yo, this is what Vegas talking about. If y'all can see the joint, that was the album cover. And Veg, you weren't alone because I'm 2 years older than you, but I really thought that they was playing fucking Frogger over here. I thought that was Frogger. I thought these niggas was in the arcade, you know, because I'm like, these niggas playing Frogger on the damn computer back then, because again, you weren't, these aren't the days where everybody has a studio. Like, that's the difference. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I had never been in a studio like that. You know, I've only been in a couple times at that age just because my mom's is a jazz musician, but I ain't never been in there to like make beats like that or something like that. So people watching just understand, you know, everybody just couldn't get money to get to the studio, because in talking about studios, like, that's a whole nother show in itself, because I remember it being in 87, me finding my man Hollis all the way out in West Philly who had a studio, and me going over his crib, and then eventually I think by the time we got to Morgan, more studios started becoming affordable for hip hop. You know what I mean? You were, and now you had a job. You know, because in 7th grade, I don't have no job. So even if you telling me $50 an hour, nigga, I don't have $50 an hour. You know, like, that's crazy. But now when you're in college and you got a job and you got a little bit of money, now you can pay for studio time. So most cats wasn't getting in the studio till they was of college age. You know what I mean? So just a dope concept right there.
Well,
what you gonna say?
Kill real quick, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of an ill album cover when you think back, because of them being in the studio. Like, I don't know if many rappers took pictures like that you know, signaled they were producers. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
I didn't know they were producers at the time. I thought they were just rappers.
Right. Nah, I feel you. West Coast Vern, what about you out there in LA? How'd you first hear about EPMD?
It's similar to Vegas. I was rolling home with Mom, and it was funny because she was listening to something else on the car radio and hit a bump, and it jumped to the hip hop station, K-Day. And it was just coming on, and she went to hit the dial. I was like, please, let me hear this, because it's my thing. And it just happened from the, you know, and I'm like, just let me hear it. And she let me hear it. And I swear to you, that night I stayed up. I had the blank tapes, and I stayed up all night waiting for the mix show. If I can go in here and get that tape, if I can have it in the Walkman going to school the next day. So it was like 87, 88. I'm like 12 years old, and I'm just like Vegas. I'm like, it's something about them, because, you know, growing up, our rappers was like our wrestlers, and you always wanted to be the first one with something. You always want to throw your tape in your people Walkman, like, no, listen to this, right? And you know, like I knew none of my boys that heard that, because I had a kid that lived across the street that was a little more well off than most of us, and he was always with the new shit, and he ain't had that. So when I heard I was hooked. Like, EPMD is probably like my favorite fucking group up until a point.
Nah, no doubt, man. And I think another thing. I love these conversations because everybody touches on such a different point. Because Vern, what you touched on that I heard was, you know what, this is my fucking marriage counselor hat. I listen to people talk, and then I have to be like, what I heard was this. Like, is this what I heard? So, but what I heard you say was the dedication that you had to have for hip hop. Like you just said, I heard something, and then I stayed up all night with my tape, ready to press record. That's a certain level of dedication right there. That I'm gonna stay up all night. I know I gotta go to school tomorrow. I'm gonna be tired as shit, but don't matter because I want to hear this song, and not only hear it, I gotta record it so that then I can go play it for my other people. Because I remember that same level of dedication when I heard Roxanne. I was like, I gotta record this song so I can learn all the rhymes. Because I remember getting on the school bus the next day, and I'm in 4th grade. I'm fucking 10 years old, and I'm getting on the school bus, and I'm like, yo, what's up, B? Yo, what's up, man? Then go that girl. They was like, oh, you know the rhymes? I'm like, yeah, I know the rhymes. Nigga, come on, I know the rhymes. So that dedication that you have, that, you know, that this new generation, and again, it's no knock because you just do what technology gives you. You know what I mean? But now you can just go to your iPhone and just bring it up and hear what you want to hear when you want to hear it. I'm so old, they had to show me, Daddy, the words are right here. You can just hit that button and they'll show you the words. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, yo, I used to sit here, like, rewind. What do you say? Okay, what do you say again? And, like, the words, just it talks to you. Like, this shit is great. But that was the thing you had to have with hip hop. This was like, yo, I'm going to sit here and just wait for it to come back on again. I'm not going outside. I'm not getting on the phone. I'm just sitting right here, waiting for this song to come back on so I can hit record. And that's a certain level of dedication and love. And I think that's why a lot of people of a certain age defend hip hop and love hip hop and adore hip hop the way we do because of what we had to do to get to hip hop. Kel, what about you, good brother? Out of Queens, when was the first time you heard EPMD?
Kind of like Vegas, same thing with the, I'm not sure which mixture. This is my thing, of course, the song, but it's either Mr. Magic or Red Alert or 105.9 WHBI, the Awesome Crew.
WHBI, like KRS said.
KRS said, right. And kind of what Vern said, I wasn't staying up though, but my parents were like, turn that music down. They were like, I would have a tape and I would I'd lower it and stuff like that, and I record it. I let the tape. Awesome too was they had like, I think the show was like midnight to 5 or something like that. So 90 minutes or whatever like that. I let the tape roll and hopefully record it and stuff like that. But then it was also 92 KTU, which is another station like the funk. It was early 80s. So I'm not sure which station I heard it on, but kind of like everybody else said. Once I heard it, I was like, I couldn't get enough of it. It was just something different. Didn't sound like anybody else. Their rhyme style going back and forth.
All right, no doubt. All right, so we're gonna talk about albums. So for me, my number one album is Strictly Business. The story I tell about this all the time is 7th grade. It's 87, 88. Me and my man Lord Cross downtown Philly at Funkelmart, and we don't have enough money. The Jungle Brothers and EPMD are both out. We don't have enough money for each one of us to buy 2 of each. So I say, yo, I'm gonna buy. I can't remember who brought one. One of us brought EPMD, one of us brought the Jungle Brothers, and the deal was, in a week, we are gonna trade tapes back and do like that. A week came and we were both dodging each other. You know what I mean? Like, that nigga ain't answering my calls, I ain't answering his calls. We nothing like that. And I'm like, bro, like, what we doing? And it was like, he was like, bro, I can't let you hold this, man. I love this shit. And I felt the same way about the Jungle Brothers. I was like, yo, I can't let you hold this because it's the shit. Like, I can't, like, and like, we laugh about, but that's just like, again, what we had to do, where it would just be like, yo, we can't afford both. You grab one. So eventually we both had to buy the other album. But this album right here is just, I love this album, 5 Mike Perfect. I don't have the cover for this, but this is the Business, Never Personal. This is the one with Boondocks, Crossover, Headbangers. This is my number 2. My number 3 would be Unfinished Business. You know what I mean? Which I thought, in Vegas talking about the first cover, I love their covers because I thought this was so ill. This nigga sitting on the IROC, the other nigga sitting on the Benz. You got the 12-inch So What You're Saying with Scratch coming out the sunroof with the wrestling belt from winning the DJ competition in New York, the new music seminar joint, which was an ill cover. And then coming in 4th is Business, as usual joint like this. This is what Gold Digger give the people what they want, everything like that. My favorite song off of Strictly Business is probably You Got to Chill. Just seeing that video, the video just went perfect with it. Seeing Steezo, God bless the dead, Steezo, who went on to do It's My Turn, It's My Thing. I can't remember. It's My Turn. Produced by the late great Paul C. R.I.P. to Paul C. So that's seeing that video, like, yo, You Got to Chill was just crazy to me. Crazy. Off of this joint, can't hear nothing but the music, man. I love that joint, man. Like, I can just listen to that.
It's kind of like slept on. It's just
god damn, I love that song. And here's the thing, Hurricane G had a song called Milky to that exact same beat. But like, there's no clean version of that. Like, it all sounds like old Clue tape. Like, if you go to YouTube, I've searched the world for, there's no like official version of Milky, but it's Hurricane G spitting over, can't hear nothing but the music. The next joint, I gotta go with So What You're Saying. I hate picking the singles off of albums, but So What You're Saying was just fucking incredible. I mean, it's just literally, to me, one of the greatest hip hop songs ever. And then probably off of the last joint, I'm gonna probably go with I'm Mad. I loved I'm Mad. And we're gonna talk about that. One of my accolades about EPMD is the way they set their albums off. When you put an EPMD album and you press play, nigga, it's like getting a new BMW and doing 0 to 60 in 3.5. Like, it's there ain't no intros, it ain't no nigga, I'm enough you down, niggas come to Brentwood, we going, nigga, you hit play, nigga, just put on your seatbelt, cause your ass is about to, you going from 1 to 6, going to 0 to 60 real quick with the way that they set off the album. It's a lost art. Bird, what about you? What are your top 4 EPMD albums, and in what order?
All right, well, number 1, I'm with you with Strictly Business. 5 mics for me, 4.5, 5 mics for me. I think slept on joint on that was Let the Funk Flow. I love that shit. And, what I liked about EPMD, I think that probably even spawned this for me was the almost the ideal of a concept album, how they always had the James, which led to Redman having the Superman Lover series. So you always look for it, right? And it was, yeah. So Strictly Business. Then I got to go to Business as Usual for my number 2. Business Never Personal, number 3, and Unfinished Business would be my 4th one. For Business as Usual, Hardcore, Rampage, Jane 3. Business Never Personal, Chill, Headbanger, and Crossover. And Unfinished Business, like So What You Saying, Get the Bozak, and Please Listen to My Demo. And it was weird because I forget what year, and this is an odd fact, but it was one year, 2 of the biggest hit records by mainstream people, I think one was Criss Cross and somebody else, they both sampled EPMD records. I think it was 2 groups. I know one of them was Criss Cross, that Tonight's Tonight, but it was Please Listen to My Demo. And I forgot who else, but it was the exact same year, and it was another EPMD record.
Yeah, man. I mean, let's not forget. I mean, the first time I heard DMX, I was like, "Yo, let's get the Bozak and we get at me, dog." Like that was my initial reaction. Like, yo, fuck that nigga. That ain't nothing but fuck these get at me, dog. Like, and he barking like a dog. Like, and y'all niggas fuck with this. Like, yo, I was like at that point, I was like, yo, rap out of control. Y'all niggas bugging. This nigga, y'all niggas, these niggas just bit EPMD and y'all good with that. But nah, that's a dope point, man. That's a dope point. Vay, what about you? What are your other EPMD albums are for you?
All right, so at number 1, I got Business Never Personal. My list has changed so many times, but Business Never Personal at number 1. My favorite track off of it is Headbanger. Just an unbelievable posse cut for me at that time. Like, it was almost like I felt like this is not supposed to happen. Like, they all gonna be on the same record. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
How to handle that? You know what I'm saying? So, second one. This wasn't my second album or favorite originally, but over the years it's moved up. So it's Business as Usual. I feel like at that point in time, I kind of slept on that album a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a different feel the first 2 albums. Favorite record off there is Rampage. That beat, I mean, LL, my God, like LL just killed that shit.
Yes, indeed.
It just stuck with me for so long. Like, damn, I love this record. Third album, Unfinished Business. Favorite song, So What You Saying, Kill. Like how I describe hearing Strictly Business and hearing the album and really getting into them as a group. And like you said, when my brother, I hadn't seen the video yet. I didn't hear anything. He just came home like, EPMD got a new album. It was Unfinished Business. And I'm looking at the cover like what? Like more? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I saw the video, So What You're Saying, I was just like, damn, I think this is my favorite group already. And Strictly Business last, You Gots to Chill. As some people know, I'm heavy into funk. That's why I like West Coast hip hop so much. And I think that's why I like EPMD so much. Because them funk samples, man, I don't even give a shit what you got to say. If that shit is knocking, it's like, that's my favorite. Every time I hear it in an old school mix, it's just I go back to that first time I heard the record, and that same feeling comes across me. So, yeah, man, those are my favorite joints and my favorite albums in order from EPMD.
Yeah, man, I miss the inside of these covers, these album inserts. You know what I mean? Where, you know what I mean? That's just the ill pick right there. You know what I mean? So that was definitely dope. Kel, what about you? What order you got them in?
So I got Business as Usual as my top album.
Okay.
It's a little bit different from you guys. Rampage, of course. Hardcore, of course. I mean, I love hearing songs when you first hear people. So obviously hearing Redman on Hardcore is, just something that I love. I'm Mad, of course. Strictly Business is my second one. I got Strictly Business. It's my thing. You got to chill, of course. Like everybody said, the video is just bananas. Unfinished Business is my third. So What You're Saying, of course, is, the Big Payback. Everybody like the Big Payback videos, though. Got NWA in there and stuff like, you know what I'm saying? So that's just the interaction with that too. And then Business Never Personal, Headbanger, Scratch Bring It Back. It's like, I love how the beat changes in the song. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm old school, so I gotta have the DJ. The DJ part of the group, you know what I mean? So just hearing that, just a dope track.
Yeah, no doubt. And the thing about your fave joint, I always love that cover too. Just the cops, with all the guns pointed at them. I thought that was you know what I mean? And yes, what about you, good brother? What's your list?
Strictly Business, number one. It's My Thing is the joint off of that one. Mm-hmm. Number two, I got Business Never Personal, and my joint off of there is Boondocks. Mm-hmm. Fucking Boondocks is that shit, boy. So, all right, so that's number two. Number three.
That's that album, right? That's that 0 to 60 price there, bro. That's that 0.
Man, Boondocks.
You can play, and Boondocks came on. It was like, here we go again. Like, here we go. Like, and we're back. And we're back.
Crazy. Number three, I got Unfinished Business, and I got Strictly Snapping Necks for that one. Love that song too. And number four, I got Business as Usual, and but the one that I chose, Brothers on My Job, is one of my favorite joints off of that album. So they got EPMD just got joints on top of joints on top of joints on top of joints.
So many.
Right. There's no tonight's episode is a no wrong answer episode in my opinion. There's just none.
Right. No doubt. Dylan Delph legend, Trey Lee, what's going on, good brother?
Man, I need a drink, man. It took me 5 hours to get my damn camera on my computer.
Oh shit.
What the hell?
It's all good, bro. It's all good, bro. Yo,
crack this open right now.
Crack that open, man. Tell me this. When's the first time you heard EPMD?
First time I heard, I mean, I just like a lot of people, I thought it was Rakim. You know what I'm saying? And that was in '88. And I didn't realize it was two voices, you know what I'm saying? Because of the laid back style that they came with, like Ross set the tone for that. So it's like anybody else you heard, do that, you just automatically thought it was him. You know what I'm saying? So, and they, of course they addressed it later, but that was the first time, what was it? What was the first single?
It's My Thing and You're a Customer. It was the A side and B side. It's My Thing and You're a Customer.
It was probably You're a Customer. It was probably You're a Customer record. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I was like, then I, as I began to listen, I was like, nah, this ain't rock. This some different shit. It's hot though. Some different shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was the first time, and after that, on and it was, everything was official after that. You know what I'm saying?
All right, no doubt. Your top 4 EPMD albums in what order?
Oh God. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna have to go with the third one first.
All right, so that's Business as Usual. Here's the funny thing. I have these CDs sitting in front of my face. I always get the third and fourth title confused.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, I could literally fail a test right now on naming their first 4 albums. After Strictly and Unfinished, it could be fucking Business Never Ever With. Like, I can't go. The third album is Business. The third album is Business as Usual.
Yeah, so Business as Usual first. Then Strictly Business was the second one, right?
No, that's the first album.
Second one second.
All right, so Unfinished Business.
Unfinished Business second. Strictly Business third. And what's the last one?
The last one is Business Never Personal.
Yeah, that's 4.
All right, no doubt. Now, one of the things I love about hearing all of that is I love the fact that nobody had the same albums in the same order. And to me, that's a testament to just how incredible their discography is. Not saying that it would have been a bad discography if we all had the same list, but just the fact of the diversity, that music, something about the third album, Touch Kelvin Trey, that was their first album. That's my last EPMD album. You know what I mean? And somebody else had, I think Kelv had the Business. I'm still got to look at this Business Never Personal, which is my second. He had that coming last. So, and again, like Yen said, there are no right or wrong answers tonight, y'all. It's just a testament to how dope that these dudes are, that you can literally start anywhere with them, and you should be good money. Tell me this. Do you think EPMD has one of the dopest 4-album runs in hip-hop? Do you think it's a top 5 4-album run? Because their first 4 albums, the first one is 5 mic. To me, the second one is 4.5. The third is 4.5. The fourth is 5 mics. But if somebody told me they have 5 mics for all of them, I ain't mad at that. Like, I'm not arguing over a half a mic. Like, so if that's a hell of a run out the gate to say that we have what could possibly be 4 or 5 mic albums in a row. For me, they do. I mean, I don't know who I would fit in the other categories. I can't tell you if they're 1, 2, 3, or 5. They're in that 5 for me.
Are you talking 5 mics? I mean, 4 albums to start their career, or 4 in a row? Just 4.
No, 4 in a row to start your career. So your debut, your first 4 albums out the gate could possibly be all 5 mic classics. Like that, we just sat here and all 6 of us from different, all over the country, got 6 different versions of what album should come first and fitting in there like that. Because most people I feel like you got I call them a Uno deck of cards. It's like a skip. I got to skip over that record, or LL is like every other record, like there's always a skip or a jump or something. Whereas with this, it's like, nah, nigga, you put all 4 of these joints in. Leave Maryland, drive up to Philly, get a cheesesteak, drive back, listen to them back. We ain't got to skip no songs. We good money. To me, they do. So for me, again, I don't know where, how, or whatever, but to me, they do. Yes, what about you? Do you think EPMD's first 4 albums out the gate is a top 5 discography in hip hop history?
Without question. Man, yeah, hell yeah. No doubt. I don't see how people of a certain age, like we were saying, right? If you of a certain age, you gotta respect the catalog. The first 4, there's no way you can. I can't see anybody saying no, but I say hell yeah.
Here's the thing that I want people watching to understand too, who may be younger, is that, and maybe older too, most people that came out in 1987 didn't even get 4 albums. We could just start and stop right there. We could just start. I'm dead ass. Like most people didn't even get it. If we look back at a lot of the groups that were dope at that time, I thought Redhead Kingpin was dope at the time. I thought, K9 Posse was dope at the time. There's so many groups that came out in that era that never even got to 4 albums. Period. You know what I mean? So then when you're saying that not only did they get the 4 albums, but you're talking about 4, maybe 5 My Classic albums out the door, I don't think it's asinine for somebody to think, this could be the first 4 gate out the gate. Like it don't get no better. Kel, what about you?
I don't think they have a rival either. Public Enemy might be the closest, but I think EPMD. Not 5 mics, like you said. 5 mics. EPMD got it across the board.
And even with PE, I love You're Gonna Get Yours. You know what I mean? But that's a solid 4 mic album. It's a good album. It was a good album. And I think for me, I don't know about the rest of us, I brought that album expecting to hear Rebel Without a Pause.
True.
And they hadn't gotten to that place, in my opinion. The Bomb Squad hadn't gotten to that production phase of Rebel Without a Pause during the Yo Bum Rush the Show. I said You're Gonna Get Yours. That was 12-ish. I meant Yo Bum Rush the Show. They weren't at that production phase yet. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now, of course, It Takes a Nation, Fear of a Black Planet, but PE could rival them. What about you, Vay? Top 5?
Yeah, I think so, because I know at the time I just felt like it, like you said about the record labels, right? It's like a seal of approval. You already had 2 dope albums in a row. You get another album that's dope. Once they come out with what is it, Business Devil Personal, which I think was the 4th album.
Yeah, that's 4.
I felt like they could do no wrong. So I definitely feel the same, whether it's 5 mics for all of them or 4.5. One of them didn't age well. Because I went to Unfinished Business. Because when you get to the end with all that, why you drinking or whatever the fuck the name is.
You had too much to drink.
I was like,
I
was like, yo, I just didn't remember it. So
that was a crazy video too, man. She was stupid.
No doubt. It is wild.
But thinking about
homeboy,
yes, indeed.
But I feel like even when you just look at the time, man, I love that album to death, and I feel like they do have a hell of a track record. Damn near flawless. It's on that Kendrick level.
Right. All right. What about you, Bar?
As far as the first 4 out the gate, it's almost unrivaled. I agree with like maybe PE, maybe Ice Cube if you count Kill at Will, because America's Most of the Predator was a pretty strong run, but I think EPMD almost set a record or almost unbeatable standard, because you remember they was going gold too every time, at least gold every time.
That's one of the accolades that we're going to talk about.
So it was a lot going on within just them being dope. It's fucking every album was different, right? And from what we got from 88 to 92, and most of them was like, some of them was like the very next year, right?
Yeah.
From 88 to 89, you had 2 albums. Then 90, so then 92 was the longest break. So, I think they set the standard. I mean, I wouldn't say they all not 5 mics, but as far as that first 4 album, that's a 5 mic discography, of course. Like a 5 mic run, definitely.
Right. I hear that. Trey, what about you?
Oh, without question. I mean, the only group I think that rivals that is Outkast. Their first 4. You know what I'm saying? If you start talking about, just classic material, 5 damn near, if it ain't 5, it's damn near 5. The only one that I can think of that rivals that is Outkast. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I was gonna say Gangstar, but I won't hold you. No More Mr. Nice Guy. It was a good album. It was a good start. It was a good start.
Yeah, I would say Gangstar too, but yeah, I agree.
It was a good springboard. It was a good springboard. Now step into the arena, daily operation, hard to earn, and moment of truth. That's that thing right there. But no knock to No More Mr. Nice Guy, because it's a good album, but it wasn't like no 5 mic explosion, like, you know what I mean? That works. I Manifest, Positivity. There were songs on there that was crazy, but I think if Gangstar started with Step in the Arena, Daily Operation, Hard to Earn, and Moment of Truth, then that's kind of crazy too. What's up, Vay?
Kill, you know me. That album don't exist. That shit is juvenile hell to me.
He said, "No More Mr. Nice Guy." What's that, Kill? Step in the Arena is their debut album. You know,
that ain't that.
That juvenile album.
No, but and again, I want people to understand that that's not a knock, because what I want folk to understand is at that time, Primo wasn't even making the beats per se, because again, we didn't have equipment like that. So Primo was taking the records he wanted to use to the engineer and to the studio to have him do it, because at the time they didn't have equipment. You know what I mean? So again, for y'all young folk, y'all don't understand. You look at all these bedroom studios, this shit was not existent in 1988. Nigga, you was lucky to have more than one radio in your house in 1988, let alone the whole fucking studio in the basement somewhere. Like, so you gotta understand that it so like Primo would tell you, like, Step in the Arena was really when he started producing. You know what I mean? So I'm not bad at Vague saying that, because it's like, you know, you needed that springboard to get where you're at. I want to shout out their 12 inches, because a lot of people don't understand how important the 12 inch was back in the 80s. Now, their first 12 inch was It's My Thing and You're a Customer, which we all said was crazy. And this is so old. This is back when they spelled EPMD, EPEEMD. And they were two different words. You know what I mean? That's what that 12 inch looked like. Then you got the Strictly Business 12 inch, which was crazy. You know what I mean? Then you had the You Got to Chill 12 inch, which was crazy. Then you had the I'm Housing with the Get Off the Bandwagon 12 inch. And both of those had remixes. The I'm Housing remix gave you more of that Aretha Franklin, Rocksteady sample in it than the original did, which is, I prefer. I don't even listen to the original. I gotta listen to the remix, because you got Aretha during the chorus. To Get Off the Bandwagon remix was real slowed down. They really wasn't rapping. They was kind of just talking. Then you come back with So What You're Saying, because I know the first time I heard So What You're Saying, in those days you were kind of like, yo, I don't know how they gonna top this. You know, like, how you gonna top this album? And then you heard So What You're Saying, it was like, God damn, these niggas ain't fucking around. You know what I mean? Even with Eric singing So Amazing, like, that was my favorite fucking part of the song. This nigga singing Luther Vandross. Like,
that was the record that made me a believer. So What You're Saying is still my favorite EPMD record to this day.
Yeah, I mean,
that made me a believer. That was like, oh yeah, they hit.
Yeah, you know, yeah. That beat, the scratches. Then you had the big Payback 12 inch. Then you had to Give the People What You Want 12 inch. And I'm talking about the remix, because the remix video version to Give the People is crazy. It's crazy. And I'm naming these 12 inches for folk to understand that this was the greatness about the 12 inches, that you got the remixes. Like, I don't even think people remix stuff anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't heard Kendrick come out with a remix to something, or J. Cole come out with a remix to something. Like, I don't even think it exists anymore. But you wanted the 12 inch because, you know, I'm watching the video. I'm like, yo, that ain't the version that's on the CD. So that means I got to go buy the 12 inch to get that version. And then coming back, you had Gold Digger and Rampage. Then what I loved about the crossover 12 inch in 92 is they had, I remember 92 is my first year at Morgan. I'm at freshman orientation and someone is banging Brothers from Brentwood, Long Island. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because that was the B-side, the crossover that did not make the album. That was another thing about having to buy the 12 inch, because the song that's on the 12 inch may not even make the album. Yep. When I heard Brothers from Brentwood, Long Island, I was like, yo, this shit is that. Brothers from Brentwood, Long Island, Brothers from Brentwood. I was like, yo, these. And then the last 12 inch was Headbanger. But I mean, that's one hell of a 12 inch discography right there. You know what I mean? So we got that. All right, tell me this.
Bro, Kill, real quick.
Yo,
speaking about your 12 inch, what you were saying about the 12 inch, just to add on to that, especially since we were talking about Gangstar, even because I watched Premiere on something recently, but even him talking about like, and I forgot about this until he said it, that DeWitt was supposed to be on Daily Operation.
Right.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, right. Because remember, it came out like when Daily Operation was out.
Right.
And not when Hard to Earn was out. So, like, to your point, it was like, well, you buy Daily Operation, but you want DeWitt, you got to go buy the 12-inch.
Yep.
It's crazy to think about that.
And it's crazy because the 12-inch used to be an album, because one of my old heads was like, yo, Kill, you got to put T. La Rock as one of the greatest MCs. I'm like, yo, that nigga don't even got no 5-mic album. He was like, nigga, he got It's Yours.
Yep. Period.
And he was like, you got to understand, in 1984, a 12-inch, that It's Yours 12-inch is the equivalent to what an album is for you young niggas. And I was like, okay, OG, I hear you. Like, I hear you, old head. That nigga looked at me. I thought I was about to get punched in my chest. That nigga said, yo, nigga don't got no 5-mic album. That nigga got It's Yours, nigga. Right. And I'm like, yeah, but that's just a 12-inch. He was like, nigga, that's all we had at the time. That's all we had was a 12-inch. Niggas wasn't getting album deals in 84, young nigga. He thought, now he mad at me. He like, look, young nigga, niggas wasn't getting no album deals in 84. You got a 12-inch deal. And then if the 12-inch did big enough, you got another 12-inch deal. And if that did big enough, then maybe we talk about giving you an album. You know what I mean? He was like, so 12 inches are really that important. And 12 inches, you can live off a 12-inch for 6 to 9 months. Easily. You know what I mean? When Raw came out, we may have lived off of Raw for fucking 8 months just from the door we came before we got something else. So we got that. So
in some ways it's not for everybody because there's so many rappers, but in some way that still happens. Well, that happens now. It's not the 12-inch, but you have some rappers who will release single after single after single after single, and you're like, damn, is there an album coming? And it never comes. They just releasing singles. Right. So it's
it's so funny because I don't know how they release music anymore. You have somebody with the surprise joints that just pop up. You don't have anything about it. Then you'll have like what Kendrick did. He dropped the song, but then that song ain't even on the album. You know what I mean? Right. But then the album's coming. Then you got, I don't even know what they do anymore. Like I kind of felt that way what you were saying about with Pusha T. Like, okay, we got Diet Coke. Now we got this. Like, okay, when's the album coming? Nigga? Like, I'm not. That's old school to me. Where like like I'm like, yo, you when you saw the video for Check the Rhyme, you knew in the next 2 to 3 months the album was coming. You know what I mean? Like you knew it was coming. Like when you saw the video, you got excited because you knew, okay, the album must be coming if the video came out. Tell me this: who do y'all think was the nicest MC in the group? For me, I always thought PMD was the nicest, but Eric was my favorite. Like, I felt like PMD was better than Eric, but I always wanted to hear Eric. I don't know if it was the lisp, I don't know what it was, but it was just something about. So I felt like PMD was the better MC, but my favorite was Eric. Trey, what about you? Who was your favorite MC in the group?
Who was my favorite? Okay.
But I'm sorry, I apologize. Who was the nicest MC in the group? I'm sorry. Who was the nicest?
Now I'm about to throw another. What do you classify as nicest?
Which one was the doper MC in the group? Because I feel like usually in duos we're always trying to find, but there's usually like a weaker link. Like somebody is better than the other one. Like somebody may say Black Thought is better than Malik B, or Q-Tip is better than Fife. Like you could say you felt they were equals.
It's hard in this one. I think they just complemented each other so well, and it was different. Because with Eric, I knew I was gonna get that, that metaphor type situation. But with Paris, it was more so the way he delivered it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was the style in which he delivered it. So both of them together, it was like magic. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be honest, I have never really, and forgive me for saying this, other than just like music, I've never really desired to hear Eric by himself. You see what I'm saying? Because I always thought that them two just complement each other so well. You split them up, it's
All right, so you kind of feel how I feel like about Tech and Still from Smith & Wesson. I feel like those two just they're one voice. Like I don't even I don't need a Tech solo album. I don't need a Steel solo album. Like y'all are just in unison. Okay, so for you, both of them, they just fit.
Yeah.
All right, West Coast Firm. What about you? Which MC did you think was the nicest?
In the group, I mean, I think I leaned more toward Parrish for the most part, which made everything else odd after that, because he was more technically sound than me, right? And, not just what I was into at the time, but like Trey said, it was such a compliment. They complimented each other so well that you got what you needed from both of them. You got the technically sound guy, then you got the fun guy with the fun bars, you know what I mean? And it just bounced off each other perfectly. I mean, when they split, the shit affected me. It really bothered me a lot. I think that was the first time I figured out I cared. Because I was like...
Right. It's funny you say that. That's the first time you figured out, like, yo, I'm invested in this shit. Like, you know, like, I feel like the EPMD breakup is equivalent to the Lori Harvey, Michael Jordan breakup. Like, it's like, y'all motherfuckers really care that these two broke up, huh? Like, this is really trending everywhere. Like, and it's like, that's what it was when EPMD broke up, because it was like, oh, what you mean they broke up? Like, come on, bro. Like, what's gonna happen? So, you know what I mean? All right. All right. So you got PMD. Veg, what about you? Who do you have as the nicest MC in the group?
I'm similar to you. I felt like, because I really had to think about it. I felt like Paris was the nicest, but I always liked Eric Sermon because it, just like Tracy said, man, they complemented each other so well that once you got a dose of one, you were ready for the next one to start rhyming. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it was, and I agree. When they split up, for Eric, it was only the production that, you know,
right
into him.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But with Paris, I was like, damn, did he get worse? Like, I don't. What?
Yes.
Like, I was just like Vern, man. Man, you talking about 4 perfect albums, and then they break up. I was mad as hell. Even when they came back, I was like, I ain't listening to that shit. Like, why you got to leave?
Right. You know, that's the couple who gets divorced and they get married, they get remarried. Like, nigga, do y'all really just get a divorce to get remarried again? Like, nigga, like, you know what I mean? But here's the hard part, because I feel like all the times in breakups, at the end of the day, that's all we want to do is get y'all back together. You know what I mean? Like, when Main Source broke up, it's like, yeah, we wanted to hear Large. Well, I won't really say Main Source because it really was fuck them 2 DJs because they really ain't do shit else. But you know what I mean? But I mean, like, in terms of like when Brand Nubians broke up, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, I just want y'all to get back together. We can stop this Brand Nubian and Pooh solo. Just get back. We just always want people to get back together. You know what I mean? So, but I feel you. That's why I was like, let's cap this. Let's keep this as a salute show. Let's cap it at pre-breakup albums, you know what I mean? Because I was looking at shit, I'm like, they had business and this and business. They had back in business, out of business. We mean business. And I was like, bro, now we taking this business shit way too far now. Yeah. Like we have to like Jane 92. We have to Jane's daughter now. Like we dead all this business and Jane's. Cal, what about you? Who did you think was the nicest in the group?
I'm with you. I think I agree. I think Paris is the nicest, but I kind of lean towards Eric as far as like to the fun and stuff. Actually, what Trey was saying about, I like music, but I also like hitting switches. You know, it's like I thought, you know, and I thought kind of like maybe a group held him back a little bit as far as solo goes, for him being on his own, wanting to rhyme more because Paris kind of outshined him. So I thought that I like Eric. I think I like lean more towards Eric actually.
All right, no doubt. And yes, what about you?
I roll with PMD. But everything Tracy said is like, fuck, it's on point. Beyond on point. But having to pick, I'm rolling with PMD. I always look forward to when his part came. Ill voice. I like the slow flow. You know, of course, with Eric, you got all of, like Tracy said, metaphors, and you know, he was a little more flamboyant with his style. And again, they complimented each other. I mean, better than most to this day. Yes. So, I mean, but for the sake of picking PMD for me.
So tell me this: they break up. Eric goes on to have a more successful solo career than Parrish. Why do we think that is? Because I think 4 out of the 6 said PMD was the nicest MC in the group. You know what I'm saying? I don't think PMD's albums ever popped like that. You know what I mean?
He took the music with him. He took the music. That's right. He took the music, just like when Dre left. Them
but hold on. Here's the thing. Because there's a huge controversy over who produced. We're about to get into the top 5 beats, but there's a lot of controversy over who produced these beats. Now, again, every album said produced by EPMD.
Right.
According to Scratch, PMD. Now, keep in mind, EPMD, here's some more history for people watching. EPMD's first DJ was Kayla Balls. Because they actually have a song on here, number 9, called DJ Kayla Balls. Yep. Scratch came on during the second album, during the making of the second album. Right. So Scratch has been around since the second album, and Scratch said PMD made all of EPMD's beats. Now, go ahead, Trey. What are you going to say?
No, I'll let you finish.
The only thing that I was going to say is this. It's almost how like somebody might say, the reason I figured out Tip was doing the beats for Tribe was not the documentary. It's simply when I heard Ali's solo production and I heard Tip's solo production. And it was the air test. It's like when basketball players be like, when analysts be like, well, look at the stats and look at this, and he's a 30, 80, 40 guy. Nigga, I just look, can you play basketball? I'm old. Can you hoop? That's all we used to go over back in the day. It's the air test. I heard the shit Ali was doing production-wise, and I heard what Tip was doing, and I said, oh, Tip did all them beats. So it's hard for me to believe that PMD did all these beats on 4 straight albums that we all just said could have been the best discography ever in hip-hop, and now he forgot how to make beats. And Eric didn't make any beats, but now Eric is going on to be one of the greatest hip-hop producers ever. You know what I mean? That's why it just never sat right with me, because it would just seem like, again, if you made all these beats in Paris, that should be no problem for you to go on and make these beats for your album. In fact, the battery should be in your back, because it's like a divorce. If you get a divorce, truth be told, don't nobody want, when the next time your wife see you, you want to make sure you fly as shit. Nigga, you want to make sure you good. You want to make sure you pull it up, even if you rent something. You want to make sure you look good. So I just would think the battery is in your back. And I felt like when Eric came out with Hitting Switches, I remember Calvars and the Bears then. Niggas came in with the mixtape we played. I was like, that nigga's back. That shit hard. Hitting Switches was hard. I was like, that's crazy. What are you going to say, Trey?
Now, I was going to say, well, we have to, take a deeper dive with regards to production. Like, is production finding the sample? Is production doing the drum track? Is production, like, we have to break that down.
More.
Yeah, as to why Scratch would say that, Parrish did the production on the EPMD albums, because I kind of tend to believe him, because if you listen to Eric's production, his lean more towards the funk. Now, I don't know if you heard that in those beginning EPMD albums. It was more sample driven. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Eric started to add, those other elements. You know what I'm saying? Those overdubs that made it funkier, that made it Parliament type sounding. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I think he took that with him and moved on and began to produce Redman, and began to produce Eric Keith Murray. You know what I'm saying? So that sound was not necessarily EPMD's sound, because EPMD's sound was more so sample driven without all of those overdubs. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll say this. Parrish ain't produced an album that sounds this damn good ever. So if Eric just started producing when EPMD broke up, well, then that nigga need to be a top 5 producer. Because if you never touched the MP before, and the first time you touch it, you make this album, nigga, you win. You win. Because you don't go from, that's like, I ain't never sold a fucking dime bag in my life, and next year I'm fucking Avon Barksdale. Like, you nigga, you won.
I think Eric helped, but he took the change. Like, when he began to get into his own bag without having to deal with Parrish, and that's when you saw the full-fledged Eric Turner. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Again, it's just, from being a producer, it's hard to go from not touching this drum machine to being able to freak this shit to be able to make this. That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why I'm always voting. What you said?
I said, and that's the thing. I don't believe he never touched the drum machine during that whole time that they was together.
Right. That's why when Scratch is saying that I'm like, you don't go from fucking not being able to use an MPC or SP12 to making this album. That doesn't happen. And if you did, then Eric is the greatest hip hop producer of all time. It's that simple. You can't go from not. If Vegas has never touched a machine in his life, and this nigga comes in here and sits down and makes this album, nigga, you win. You win.
You don't know.
You win. You know, because here's the thing. It's almost just like, and I've always wondered this, from Guru, NCL, Smooth. You spent, and this is an assumption because I don't know. I don't know if Guru and CL were in the studios when Pete and Primo were making those albums. You know what I mean? And maybe they just had no urge to learn it. But it's just hard for me to believe. Well, not hard for me, but it's just, I guess it's fucked up for me to believe that you happen to be in the studio, both of you, with two of the greatest hip hop producers ever. And again, maybe you just didn't have an urge. Maybe you didn't have an urge and you just never want to say, hey, what's that button do over there? But I almost feel like if you've been on tour with this nigga, y'all recorded these albums in D&D, like, nigga, you should be able to, CL, you got to be able to loop up something, brother. You got to be able to, like, nigga, you got to be able to do something. But, you know, neither here nor there.
Well, here's one thing that, to me, is pretty clear and brings into question what Scratch says. But what's Parrish's production credits after EPMD? Because we could name a million Eric Sermon, and they ain't all Def Squad. You know what I'm saying? So why wasn't he in demand? You know, if he produced
question. That's a good question. And like I said, if it's like what Jay say, you made Jay, make another Jay. Like, yo, if you made So What You Saying, make another So What You Saying. Like, if niggas like Kill, you ain't really make that beat on Vega album for Willmatic. Nigga, you want to make another one in front of you right now? Like, that's no fucking problem. Like, I could do that for you right now. You want another one? No problem. So that's why I've just always, me and Lord AAA always go back and forth on Twitter about that, because he swears, he'll be like, no, Scratch said PMD and PMD. And I'm like, well, why PMD ain't make no more dope beats? To me, that says it all. That just says it all. If you didn't make no more dope beats after the breakup, then how did you make all these dope beats? So that just says it to me right there. Like, it's past opinions. Like you said, Vague, where are PMD's credits? Production credits.
Not even just that. It's like the drop off of PMD was so drastic and it was fast. He started rhyming different, like instantly, and the shit just was sporadic and fucking weird. And like it was just it's almost like, you know, no disrespect, but it's like some of us said he was the technically sound one, but at the end of the day, there's no way that Eric didn't carry that fucking group. In my opinion, there's just no fucking way. Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback on Tracy. Maybe the nigga was picking out the records like use this, and then he was stepping the fuck back, and that's what they call production at the time. He wasn't doing that shit.
I don't know if Eric
everybody that went with him failed. Everybody that went with PMD fell off the fucking map. He had nothing to give him because he wasn't doing the work. That shit is played today.
And here's the thing, everybody watching, this is still a salute show. We ain't this nobody. We just have to. But I just don't want, I don't want y'all to do no salute show to kill. Be like, well, that time that nigga was at the party, that nigga left me. Like, I don't want y'all doing my salute show. Like, that time that nigga got robbed at Broad Island. Like, whoa, I thought you salute me. I thought this was a good party,
It don't take away from the greatness of EPMD.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But again, it leads someone to believe that these are how the rumors can get started of how, like Vern just said, you take that drastic fall off. Somebody could say, "Damn, was P even writing his rhymes, writing his own rhymes?"
Oh shit! One more thing. Scratch can lie too, my nigga. Like Scratch a person.
Don't get bro. I tell people that all the time. I'll be like, bro, I don't know if you got the new memo. It's this new word that just came out last week called lie. And niggas like to do it. Niggas like to do this thing called lying. We have mastered the art of fucking lying. So again, just because Scratch said it, don't mean that's that's fact.
Nah, the new bougie term for lie is changing the narrative.
Right.
Yeah. Alternative facts.
Alternative facts.
So again, I'm with you. I'm with you. Right? I tell people that all the time. I don't know if you've ever heard this new word. It's called a lie. Niggas do it from time to time. So that could be it. Kel, what about you? Did you think? What do you think shifted the break? Like what happened after the breakup?
I don't even know. I mean, like everybody said, so it was just so weird to have. If you have, like you said, you're part of a group, to just split and one half does amazing stuff and then the other is just everything he drops is, what was it, Shady Business? I think was the name of the album. It's terrible.
Shady Business. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first one after they broke up.
Yeah, that was.
And I think it may go back to what Trey was talking about, the importance of them being a group. Right. You know what I mean? Maybe Eric had the better eye for talent. So he grabbed Redman, he found Keith Murray. You know, I don't know if PMD may not have had that eye. He may not have been able to be the one to say, okay, he kind of got Das and K Solo in the breakup. Yeah, you know, but it's kind of like, you know, K Solo, that spelling shit got played out, you know, after 2 albums. So that kind of fell off. Iggity kind of fell off. And by the time Hold It Down came out, I don't even know if Das was still, you know, really with PMD like that no more. So, and I think I was saying it goes back to
they didn't. They said that they weren't with him. Kind of
right.
Like he was
right.
there.
So I think a lot of it does go back to what Trey said, is that they were just the perfect group, you know. And even though Eric had more success, it just could have been like them together, just, you know, made great music together, and they kind of needed that. You know what I mean? So,
you know what? To your point too, I've seen him in interviews after, you know, obviously getting back together. I think with Drink Champs and Eric, he probably hear all this stuff too, talking about like Paris ain't doing nothing. And even he said like, "Oh, Paris taught me how to produce." I don't know if I buy that, but he said it in an interview. And
I mean, maybe. I mean, here's the thing. You know, it's like karate. It's like karate. The guru, you know, the young grasshopper may surpass, you know, the guru or whatever like that, the master. You know, so that could have happened, but again, it's a very strange situation to see. It's just very strange to see something like that.
Said it started sounding weird. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Well, since we're talking about beats, what are y'all top 5 beats from EPMD? Beat wise, I gotta go with So What You're Saying. The first, I mean, to this day, that beat still fucks my head up. Like, that's one of those beats that if somebody was like, "Yo, remake that beat," I mean, I could do it, but it probably wouldn't sound as good as they did. You know what I mean? So what you're saying, the I'm Housing remix, the one with the Rocksteady Aretha sample that just they let that play out more. I used to love those 12 inches where people would do that. Same thing with the Buck 'Em Down remix. It's the same Donald Byrd Wind Parade sample, but they just let the sample play out more in the remix than they did for the original. Total Chaos, that was the second song off of this. So to go from So What You're Saying, again, Trey, we were talking about, I said EPMD has an art of setting off an album. It's like 0 to 60. You put this in and you hear So What You're Saying, then it goes straight into Total Chaos, which at the time was used in Impeach the President, which is my favorite sample. I didn't even know what Impeach the President was at the time. I just Total Chaos off of this. Again, I'm going back to Can't Hear Nothing But the Music. And here's a sleeper, man. Jane, the OG Jane. The first time I heard that, with that break, with the piano, with the Rick James, I mean, Jane to me is just beautiful. So those are my top 5 beats. So What You're Saying, I'm Housing the remix, Total Chaos, Can't Hear Nothing But the Music, and Jane. Jens, what you got for your top 5 EPMD beats?
I got You Got to Chill. Ooh. I got the Boondocks. Ooh. I got Funky Piano, but not the hook portion of the beat. Like whenever the beat's just playing, the piano and stuff, that part of Funky Piano I think is really, really dope. It's My Thing, and the Headbanger. That's the 5 I got.
All crazy, man. What about you, Kel?
I got So What You're Saying, of course, as my top as well. I got to Give the People remix.
Got to Give the People remix is stupid. Everybody watching, I know we can't get 12 inches. I don't even think they have 12 inches on streaming platforms like that. So go to YouTube, put in the EPMD, give the people what they want remix. And I think it's called like the Jeep and Parish or the Eric and Parish remix or the Jeep remix or something like that. Please go. Or you could just watch the video. The video is the remix version. So crazy.
You Got to Chill. Like Jens, I got Funky Piano. Just love that joint. And then Headbang.
All right. No doubt. No doubt. Vague, what about you?
It's difficult to choose 5 beats because that production is the main reason why I love EPMD.
Yeah.
So I got Rampage. I love that beat. It's My Thing. I've always loved that track. Scratch, Bring It Back. Like
that's crazy.
Just the way it starts. Like,
that rewind, reel up, bring it back, yo,
that bass. Oh shit, it's crazy. Gold Digger.
Ooh, that's my joint.
First time I heard that, I was like, oh shit, they got a video for this. I was going crazy. And so what
I think I like different versions of that too.
Yeah, when I heard So What You Saying, I was just like,
that changed my life, man.
It didn't make sense.
It changed my life.
It's the next level of hip hop and some shit. So those are my 5.
And the crazy thing is, it's 1988. Like, again, not saying that It's My Thing or Strictly Business, none of those songs sound dated per se, but so what you're saying just still sounds incredible to this day. Like that beat, I remember when who did that? Beans and Memphis Bleak did that over on Beans' second album, and even that, just hearing again, it just sounds.
You can't touch that beat. Nobody should be allowed to touch that beat. Nobody. They killed it.
Like
there's certain people that kill beats, and you shouldn't be able to. That's one of them. Just don't mess with it, man.
The only time that somebody fucked with it and it wasn't bad and I actually liked it, but it was on the R&B tip. SWV used that guitar lick from the BT Express for "Use Your Heart, Not Your Mind." I forgot. And in the background, you can faintly hear the dum 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 dum. Like,
I mean, R&B don't count though.
Right. I know, but I was just saying that's like that's one of the few times, and I kind of like, yo, that's kind of dope because it's R&B and it's in the background faintly. They didn't take Jack the sample. It wasn't SWV jacking, fucking 10 Crack Commandments. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't that, but it was kind of just like in the background. Vern, what about you? Top 5 beats.
I got shit. So What You Saying, of course. Headbanger, Hardcore, Rampage, and Crossover.
Ooh.
And honorable mention, man, I like that Richter scale. I know we said we weren't going past the 4 albums, but I was listening to that Richter scale today, and I love that shit.
Richter scale is good, man. That shit is hard. In that new symphony they had, I think on the album after that was hard too. The symphony.
2000?
Yeah, that shit was hard too. You know what I mean? That beat was crazy. Trey, what about you, good brother? Oh, what you gonna say, Vern?
Never Seen Before remix. That was hard too.
And here's the thing too, in doing research for this show, looking at those albums, Back in Business, Out of Business, and We Mean Business, Eric produced the bulk of those albums. So it's not like PMD got back in pocket and was like, yo, okay, let's split the production down the middle. Like Eric did the bulk of that, but neither here nor there. Trey, what about you, good brother? What are your top 5 EPMD beats?
Since everybody kind of mentioned Rampage, I'm gonna say So What You Saying. Let's just get that out the way, right?
Right.
Since everybody mentioned the Rampage, I'm gonna say Your Customer. That's my joint. Get down, get in.
Yo, bro.
Slipping, get down.
Right, just for a second. One of the things that I loved about production back in those days is they were able to take pieces of different songs and make them feel like they all fit together. Because you're taking ZZ Top, you're taking the Steve Miller Band, and you're taking I don't know where to Get Down comes from, but you taken 3 totally different songs from 3 totally different genres and made them sound as if it's just one flawless song.
Dodo. Come on, man. Right. That bass line is forever. Any MC can kill that. Any MC is wide open, you can kill that. If you're an MC, you're supposed to kill it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So what you saying, you're a customer, rap is out of control. I'm mad. And please listen to my demo.
That shit is so smooth, man.
Right.
That thing is so smooth, man. And the crazy thing was, it was a dope ass story too.
Man, listen.
Yeah.
No drums.
You know what I mean?
Talking about these kids talking about they don't use no drums. No drums.
Yeah.
Right. Those drums.
Yeah. Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Tell me this. Let me talk about some of the accolades I want to talk about EPMD that I don't think they get enough credit for. Number one, and Vern said it himself, which was perfect, was these dudes were going gold in 88. I remember hearing So What You Saying, and he said, and 30 days later, the LP went gold, So What You Saying. And I remember not knowing what the hell that meant, because it's 1988. I don't know nothing about record sales and gold and platinum and none of that stuff. And my mom was like, oh no, that means you sold 500,000 records. Now, at the time, I'm a young boy. I don't know nothing. I'm thinking everybody loves hip hop. I'm thinking everybody's selling 500,000 records. But to be able to be going gold in 1988, like, that's a huge accomplishment. You know what I mean? Like, that's huge. You know what I mean? And for somebody who may not understand, let me explain to you like this. Gangstar didn't go gold until Moment of Truth in 1997. So Gangstar...
I didn't know that.
So Gangstar, whose first album, No More Mr. Nice Guy, dropped in 1988, it almost took them a decade to go gold.
Facts.
Think about that. Gangstar is my personal number 2 favorite group ever. I don't think anybody could debate that Gangstar is one of the greatest hip hop groups ever. It took them 10 years to go gold. Think about all the bangers they got, Mass Appeal, Dwick, all of that shit. And EPMD went gold in 1988 on an independent record label, Sleeping Bag Records. That right there in itself is an incredible accomplishment. People know me. The only time I use record sales is at the end of an argument. I'm never going to be like, oh, you should like such and such because they went gold or they went platinum. If I do bring it up, it's going to be like the end. Like, I don't even give a fuck. But that's a huge accomplishment, too. They put together the Hit Squad. One of the dopest hip-hop crews of all time. Like, these dudes found DOS Effects.
Yep.
You know, now I understand now DOS Effects, people have jumped on this time machine called Twitter and went back in time and made DOS Effects a one-hit wonder, and all they had was Day One Effects. And bro, Greg, you know how many people I see calling DOS Effects a one-hit wonder?
What?
What? Bro, yes! This is why I call Twitter a fucked up time machine. Niggas are like, DOS Effects is a one-hit wonder, and it's like,
how?
Are they our dudes? Are they our age?
How?
No. Here's the thing, though. Here's the bad part. Here's the bad part about media.
How?
When Yen said he went to the record store and the DJ played him the 12-inch, we grew up in an era where if you worked at the record store, you were a hip hop head. I can remember going to the record store at Broad Olney and talking to the guy like, yo, I got some money. I only got money for one album. I remember Jodeci's third album came out and Jasmine Taz 2 was out. And I was like, which one should I get? He's like, well, hip hop or R&B. Like, you could have a discussion with the people who worked at the record stores because the people who worked at the record stores were heads. They were hip hop heads. I'll never forget when I went to Sam Goody in the Gallery Mall in 1996 after It Was Written dropped, and I asked for MOP, and the girl behind the counter said, you want to hear an album from Mop. That's when I knew right there that the whole game had changed. She said, you want an album from Mop? And I was just like, oh shit, the game's dead. The game's over.
Look,
we can wrap this
this
up.
out. I heard somebody say Quain
Monkeys of
instead
Parole?
of Kwame. Quain.
Quain.
They got this new Quain out.
So even when people talk about the A&Rs, I'm always telling people the A&Rs in my day were the shit.
They were the
Dante
gatekeepers.
Ross, yeah,
They were gatekeepers.
they were gatekeepers. But here's the thing, Trey, that word now is used in a negative light. It's like you OGs are gatekeepers. You don't want to let us live. No, the A&Rs kept that whack shit out of the industry.
That's right.
So when you talk about Dante Ross, who's a white boy, and it goes back to why I don't believe white folk are guessing hip hop. Dante Ross signed Pete Rock and CL Smooth, signed Naughty by Nature, signed De La Soul, signed KMD, signed Lisa New School. So these A&Rs,
Rick Rubin, hello.
yeah,
Hello.
Rick. I mean, right, but again, Ad Rock White is the one who said, yo, Rick, you should listen to this kid LL Cool J's demo.
Hello.
So again, The A&Rs were people who loved the music. The people who wrote for The Source loved the music. So I'm saying all that to say, Vern, to your point of, are they our peers? So many of these people are kids. These people, I always tell people, if you want to do anything hip-hop, if you want to start a blog, a label, a website, a channel, if you don't have somebody 48 or older, or at least 45, I'll start with 45. If you don't have somebody 45 or older on your team, your shit is not going to be dope. Because somebody is going to stop. That bullshit Rolling Stone article that I don't want to give no more than 20 seconds to talk about. The thing is that if somebody over 45 was there, they would have stopped. Stop press. Don't you hit. What do you hit? Make it live. Don't you make that shit live. No. We bring that back, bro. We bring that back. Bring that back. Come on back. Come on back. Yeah, don't hit send. We are not that. Do not put upload. Do not upload that. We gonna figure this out.
All I needed to see was the first 10, and I was out.
Right, but the whole premise of Vern, to answer your question, they're not our age. They don't know anything about it. So what they're doing is, they're Googling it, they're YouTubing something, And here's the thing: you gotta at least have an OG as a consultant. You gotta be able to be like, yo, call Kill. That nigga, we pay that nigga fucking $2 a month just to kind of answer questions for us. Call him and see if that's legit right there. But so yes, babe, people do look at Das as a one-hit wonder. But I understand at that time, Das was mind blowing. I just was talking about this on the last show. Das was the people who had people wearing fatigues, not the boot camp clique. Das was wearing fatigues 2-3 years before the boot camp clique. So again, even those narratives get changed because, like, the boot camp clique brought in fatigues. No, Das was rocking fatigues when I was still in high school. Boot camp clique ain't come till I was a sophomore at Morgan.
They inspired Onyx. I don't know if y'all heard that talk, but they inspired Onyx. Like, they was the ones, and they won't say Onyx is a one-hit wonder, but you know what I'm saying? If you looking at inspiration, Das is the one that inspired them.
But here's the thing, Trey. I've heard people call Onyx a one-hit wonder. Because some of these folks, again, you got to look at the new generation. They're just looking at numbers. So when somebody who is not into hip hop looks at Onyx, they're gonna see Slam was their big hit. Did anything ever match? Because Slam was everywhere. Slam was on MTV. Slam had white folk all across the country. Slam. So they're gonna look at Slam, and then they're gonna say, did they ever have anything as big as Slam again? The answer is no.
Whoever has anything as big as their top hit.
No. Right. Trey, I agree with you, but I'm just saying, an outsider looking in, this is how they're gonna define it. So for me, I hated Slam. So I don't even give a fuck about Slam.
That wasn't my regular choice.
Guns in the air, and if you're asking me, did they have a song bigger than Slam? I'm gonna say Last Days is bigger than Slam. But again, these people aren't looking at mix shows; they're just looking at numbers. People have said Biz is a one-hit wonder. Just a friend.
You just get up, man.
Tracy, how?
Because again, they're just looking at numbers. What was Biz's biggest song? Just a friend. Did he ever have anything that was bigger than Just a Friend? No. So you're a one-hit wonder.
Kill, hold on.
What's up?
That means you had to be outside, man. If you wasn't outside, you gotta work.
No. But again, Trey, if you're just looking at it from a number standpoint, if you're just
wasn't born and you're looking,
you're just looking at it, and this is what they're doing. They're just looking at the charts and saying. So to me, if you tell me Biz is a one-hit wonder, I'm gonna be like, this is a 5-mic album. What are you talking about, one-hit wonder? And this was two albums before Just a Friend.
Yes,
but again, there's no numbers on here. There's no chart topping. You was on MTV on here. So that's the problem. What were you gonna say, Veg?
So we explained what the whole hip hop Twitter podcast is about.
Right.
I'm on Twitter, but I'm not on it enough to see all of this shit.
Right, me either.
I think there's an element there's an element of not just youth, and respectfully, no disrespect.
Don't put that disclaimer out there. Just say it, man. I'll take the heat. You're Vegas. I'll take the heat.
Trey ain't on Twitter half the time. Trey gonna take the heat. Trey, your cousin. Trey, your cousin from Uptown who come down Southwest starting fights and then go back home. And don't come back for 5 weeks. after they done shot your house up. So I'll take the hit. I take the hit, man. Nigga, auntie came and got you on Sunday, ain't bring you back for 6 months. Nigga, I'll be getting my ass whooped down here because you put all the shit you was talking. What you gonna say, man?
You gonna take the heat for all of it.
I'm good, man, bro. My timeline is a hot helmet. I love it though. I love it. It's a hot helmet, man.
Kill live for that. Kill live for that.
Honestly, look, I'm gonna just say like this, man, because I've encountered some of these cats from time to time, and you see what happens with them. With me, I just kind of end that shit quickly. But if Moment of Truth, Illmatic just came out in your country, man, shut the fuck up and let us talk. This is our music.
Right.
We just got the album that we got 20 years ago now.
Right.
And you here with us. You coming from a totally different perspective than we are.
Right.
You know, we've been gobbling up this shit forever. So we have a way broader palette for hip hop. And every facet of it.
Yep.
So when people say shit like that, right? If they wanted to, or let's go with their logic, right? For sales, right? So Biz's biggest song was Just a Friend. Well, how do they feel about Illmatic? That shit didn't go platinum a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What do they feel about Illmatic?
But again, it's kind of like what we said. And again, y'all know me. Everybody has a different definition for the same word. You know what I mean? To me, a one-hit wonder is Milli Vanilli with Girl You Know It's True. It's Color Me Bad with Girl Sex Me Up. You can't have a 5 Mic classic album and be a one-hit wonder. You know what I mean? Just in my opinion, you can't. Now, to somebody else, so all that to say that EPMD found DOS. You know what I mean? Who at that time was crazy. The whole Iggy style changed all of hip hop. People shooting their videos in the sewers, all kinds of shit. You know, just changed the game. Then not only that, then they found Redman. And I'll never forget, my old head Walt used to live across the street from me. He was dating Kiara Mayo, who was like the editor at The Source at the time. And he was like, bro, I'm going to tell you about this new group, this new dude that EPMD found called Redman. And I was like, is he better than DOS? And my man said, fuck yeah. And I said, nah, I don't believe you, nigga. Ain't nobody better than DOS. Like, that's how big DOS was at that time. That I was like, nigga, nah, I don't know. He better than DOS, nigga. Get the fuck out of here. Then you got Redman. And it's like, yo, this dude is Redman. Like, we're still waiting for fucking what's the album we've been waiting for 40 years? Yeah, Muddy Waters 2. Like every year he drops one song and he's like, I'm coming. It's like it never comes. But we're still so
the most influential MCs in my career. And I'm not ashamed to say it. Like, yes, I mimicked that dude at the time. Absolutely.
So again, you got Dash, you got Redman. I know K Solo style was the spell, not the most greatest style in the world, but it worked at the time. I don't care. You rock Spellbound, you rock Your Mom's Is in My Business, you rock Fugitive. Very dope solo album. I think it's a very slept on solo album. And then even after that, now you got Keith Murray. You got Eric bringing in Keith Murray. You know, which the most beautifulest thing was just crazy. I'll never forget. Was it Hardcore where he's in the video with the razor blade under his tongue? Like Keith Murray was just an ill dude. So again, not only the accolades of going gold in 1988. Coming up with, one of the dopest hip hop crews ever. Just some accolades because I don't see an EPMD getting a lot of love on the top. I always hear about Outkast. We always hear about Tribe. I don't even see Gangstar EPMD getting a lot of love like that out here in these streets. Primo get love, of course, for the beats, but just as a whole, I don't think like these groups are getting enough love like that. So tell me this: is EPMD a top 5 hip hop group or duo? Number one, how do y'all see them? I see them as a group. To me, you're either an MC or you're a group. Now, I've heard some people say you're a duo if 2 people rhyme. So my beat would be a duo.
You see me, right?
But I'm right there with you. Gangstar would be a group because only Guru raps and Premier. I'm like, see, that's too much long algebra, nigga. I'm 48. They a group. So is EPMD a top 5 group ever? Yes, for me they are. I got Outkast, Gangstar, Tribe, and EPMD is kind of number 4 for me as greatest hip hop groups ever. Trey, what about you?
Oh man, emphatically, they're and for me, I don't know if I'm the resident OG in this talk, but and we talking about the reason why I think they get faded out is just like all the other OGs in hip hop that really catapulted where we are right now. With regards to MCs and groups, get faded out as time goes on, because I don't hear enough love for Run DMC, and Run DMC started all of this.
That's true.
Monetization, commercialism, able to get a bag from corporations and all of that. They started all of that, and you don't never hear
Stadiums. They started stadiums.
Wembley Stadium.
Wembley Stadium. Are you right?
Come on, man. Knock it, yo, man. See, this is why we need gatekeepers. This is why we need historians, educators, and things like that, because there's not enough people out here that can give the right and put everything in the right context for these youngins. That's how they begin to slip and start and don't know nothing. So back to the topic at hand. Absolutely, EPMD. It's Run DMC, EPMD, Outkast for me. However you want to flip that, bounce that, you know what I'm saying, into whatever. But you know, you can't have a conversation about all-time groups without mentioning top 5 all-time groups without mentioning EPMD. Period.
You're right. And that's a huge point on Run DMC, because you're right. They don't get. I don't see anybody.
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Run or D on the timeline. Who have a 3-album run. That is one of the greatest 3-album runs in hip hop history. Being in movies with Crush Groove. So like you said, just being able to get the bag. These niggas we have to do a Run DMC salute show so that people can understand, you know, these niggas had their own line with Adidas. Like, nigga. Like,
yo, it's insulting, it's embarrassing, it's shameful. Any word you can kind of think, it's terrible, yo. I'm sitting up here, I can't believe I'm saying this, because this is one of those things that shouldn't even have to be mentioned. Nigga, you talk about groups and monumental, monumental. But I don't understand, man. And they'll call them motherfuckers one-hit wonders. Shit. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
I'll be up here, Jensen. I'll be up here like, how?
Nah, I feel you. West Coast Burn, what about you? Is EPMD a top 5 hip hop group ever?
I think maybe the shit, definitely. Yeah, like maybe the second after Run DMC. I think they're probably the most deserving of that second spot, but hands down.
No doubt.
Fact.
Veg, what about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I totally agree. I always feel that way about EPMD. A lot of times, like Trey said, man, people talk about groups and you almost never hear anybody say Run DMC, and I get offended by that shit. Because I'm like,
that shit.
Like, if y'all want to talk success, right? Y'all want to talk bars and shit. You want to just talk success. I mean, they had a shoe deal.
Well, here's the thing. This is what I was looking for. Y'all know me. I always keep a book on hand. This was the Run DMC line right there. They had
Adidas
their own line of
Eldorado.
sneakers.
That Eldorado, I think it was one of the shoes.
You know how favorite those
And there goes, I remember having this poster right here. I'm touching the wrong page. Having that poster in my room. I mean, these dudes, if you could try and zoom in on this, these dudes had their own shirts.
I remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
They had to run these shirts.
Yep.
You know, these dudes, you talking about the Yeezys, nigga, these the OG Yeezys right here. This is these dudes with their own sneaker, and this is 1989. You know what I mean? So that right there is crazy within itself. But yeah, we definitely gonna do a show.
We gotta do a show on them.
Yeah, we definitely gonna do a show. And this is from when Madison Square Garden, where they told people to put their Adidas in the air. They got their deal with Adidas from Madison Square Garden. So, all right, no doubt. So, Veg, you said yes, right? Or you were still going about Run?
No, no. Top 5 for sure for EPMD. I mean, when you look at their 4-album run, alone, at the time they did it, I mean, you could look at other groups and it gets spotty, right? Like, I like Mobb Deep, but you got to count Juvenile Hell, right? Like, so the production, them as a duo, you know what I'm saying? Some of the shit they were even talking about, like you said, they're talking about record sales in a way that most rappers weren't, you know, except for
you
maybe
could talk about record sales in '88 because nobody was selling no records. Like, that's like nobody else was talking about I went gold. Like, I don't even know if Paid in Full went gold. I don't know if Criminal Minded went gold.
Right. 4 times straight. At least
Yeah,
go.
like-
At least
so-
go.
Yeah, that was one of the main reasons nobody was talking about record sales, because nobody had that on their shirt, no stripes on their shirt to even say like I went gold. Like I said, I had to be like, yo, you went gold. What the fuck do that mean? I'm thinking they brought a gold chain or some shit. Like I don't know what that means. In 30 days you went gold. What? You know, so.
I gotta look up to see if any other group. I know DMX went on a run. Like I don't know nobody else that did full-time straight.
Oh, 4 in a row, yeah, DMX, yeah.
Yeah. So
Run DMC did too, but that's But you talking about upper echelon? You know what I mean? Like, come on, the average group is not doing that. They're not doing.
I mean,
that.
Trey, I don't know if he was on here earlier. I was saying one of the things that's so important. The average group that came out in 1987 didn't have 4 albums.
Facts. The average group in 1990 didn't have 4 albums.
Right. You know what I mean?
In the 90s.
The fact that you not only got 4 albums, but that all 4 albums was dope, and they were getting jumping from labels because they came out on Sleeping Bag Fresh on the first 2 albums. By the 3rd album, Def Jam brought out their contract, so now they're on Def Jam. You know what I mean?
2000s ain't getting 4 albums.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the 90s, there were a lot of great singles in the 90s that never amounted to actual albums. So if you wanted to call Trends of Culture a one-hit wonder, I'm not really mad at that, because Off and On was really all they had. Like the album wasn't that great.
I didn't even know
If you want to call, yeah, they did have an album.
Yeah, another song. I can't think of it.
No, it's no disrespect, but I mean, but again, this is what I'm just saying. Blase.
They gave out a lot of single deals. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Like the song was incredible. Album not so much. You know what I mean? So if you want to call them one-hit wonders, I feel you, because they had a song. So, and I'm not saying this as any disrespect to any of those groups. I'm just trying to help people understand the temperature that was outside at that time, that you could have a smash song but maybe not be able to create a good album, because Trends of Culture never got a second album.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't think Blase got a second album. The Boogie Monsters, I think they got a second album, but they were kind of somewhere lost in the sauce. So it's just the fact that you got 4 albums in 88 to 92, from me going into high school to me being a freshman, and you were the shit for those entire 4 years, says a lot. You're not going to find a lot of people who are going to be able to say that I stayed on top. And on top of their game, when Crossover came out, EPMD was still at the top of their game, if not at the highest point of their game. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you're not going to find a lot of people who did that. Like, maybe another artist got to their 4th album, they're still buzzing in the streets, but Crossover was everywhere. That was on MTV. And I think they've talked about how it's crazy. Our biggest song is talking about the radio and how we don't want to crossover. And it basically cost us over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So Cal, what about you? Top 5 group ever?
Top 5 group, definitely. Of course, I'm point. So Run DMC is my first, but EPMD, PE, Tribe, Mob. But yeah, EPMD. They're, like you said, their 4-album run is unquestionable. You can't deny it.
Yeah. Yes.
Can y'all see that?
Yeah, looks like I actually wrote something.
Hell yeah, top. Right there with Run DMC, Public Enemy, EPMD, Gangstar, all of that. Yes, that's top of the top.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Run DMC, just for a little bit since we brought him up, Run DMC transcends this shit. Run DMC.
Thank you.
Is the top of the top.
It's the top of the top.
There's no debate. You can't debate.
The greatest group ever.
Everybody learned their stage presence from Running D, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, no, you can't. Them dudes is just, they're there, way up there.
Yeah, but I think it's to Trey's point that for them to be way up there, they should be talked about. Period. We're not even talking about being talked about more. They're not even talked about. So
it depends on who you're talking to. Like if the timeline consisted of this group of cats right here, you would hear.
I'm at fault at this. I don't talk about Run DMC as much as I should. Just keeping it a buck. I'll be honest with you. I don't do it enough. And now after hearing this, I need to talk about them more.
But to your point, for them to be so big, it shouldn't be that. It should be an automatic It should be all like as soon as you start talking hip hop,
Groups, especially. Yep.
Automatic.
First thing out your mouth, right? Yep, no doubt.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny?
What you gonna say, Kevin?
I was gonna say they just played Kansas State University, Run D.
Right.
Look at that. So like a couple months ago, 30,000 people. I mean, they still doing it. They still killing it.
Tore that shit down off a back catalog.
Yeah.
Off a back catalog.
I think what a lot of it may be is that a lot of people who are our age aren't active on social media.
That's a fact.
So I think that's one piece that's right there. A lot of folk aren't very active. Like Trey and Vake say, pop in from time to time, but most people our age aren't every day in the trenches. I just live on Twitter. That's just like Cheers to me because it's the only place I can go and talk about everything the fuck I can talk about sneakers, records, beats, beards, basketball. Like this is Cheers to me. Like I don't have anybody else. It's a one-stop shop. It's like going to Target for me. I can talk about every goddamn thing. But it's not enough of us that are on Twitter who then and when people are like, yo, how do you put up with these people? How do you talk with them? It's only the educator in me from working with my hard head teens that I'm trying to teach. It's like the teacher in me. It's like I want to get through to you because if we don't, then Run DMC disappears. Like that's the problem. If we don't teach this next generation, then these people that we're talking about do not exist because now we see that they change history. Das is a one-hit wonder. I'm gonna get you, Trey. Somebody sent me something and they said, "Kill, look at this," and it was like something about True TV is doing the origins of hip hop, and it's like Fat Joe. The origins of hip hop is Fat Joe, Eve, Little John, Nelly. All these people. It was
How?
And one of my people's got at me.
Oh man.
It was like, but Kill, what you mad at? Like all these niggas is of age. And I said, well, bro, the reason why I'm mad is because listen to the word, the origin. As much as I love Fat Joe, he is not the origin of hip hop. So what happens is, so when a kid is like, hey, I really want to learn about hip hop, I'm going to watch the origins of hip hop, and he's going to see Eve, who I love from Philly, but not the origin of hip hop. Fat Joe, who I love, but not the origin of hip hop. That's the problem. If you're going to call the show the origin of hip hop, then you have to start with the beginning. So that's the problem, that there's not again, all of these shows, because whoever is there can't be over 45, because somebody would have been like, we can't call it that.
You said True TV is doing that?
I mean, I don't know who it is. It's some. If just put in Origins of Hip Hop TV, and I'm sure it'll pop up. But the problem is you can't call something the origin of hip hop. And me and my man are going back and forth, and I said, bro, origin means the beginning. So if I'm reading a backstory on the origin of Batman, it's going to start with him and his parents being murdered. That's the origin. It's not going to start with him meeting Robin. It's not going to start with him meeting the fucking Joker. It's going to start from the beginning. Y'all are starting this story with Fat Joe, who came out in 1991. That's so far from the origin. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, so they using Fat Joe as a starting place, or as Fat Joe being used to speak on?
These are the I don't know, but these are the people who and maybe you know what, even if these are the people that they're getting to speak on it, fuck that, because Kaz is around.
Kaz is around. He'd be the first person I go to. Right.
Go to Kaz. Flash is still alive. Are these people dead? To me, if these people aren't dead, then you should be going to them. And guess what? If they're dead, then who came after Kaz? Mo D, he's still alive, then go to Mo D. Mo D's dead? Oh, who's next? Go to LL. If LL's dead, then... So there's still a family tree that we got to go through before we get the fucking Fat Joe. Okay?
You're right.
We got to go through before we get the Fat Joe. What's up, Trey?
So I just want to say, I want all of you brothers to please, like, take care of yourselves, like, watch your diets, get the colonic, all of that, right? Because I need y'all around, right? Because if we not around, then we can't tell the real story. You understand what I'm saying? Going back to what you said, Kill. You know what I mean? Like, these people are still walking this earth, but yet, not only are, you know, the whole fact, it's either you don't know or it's intentional as to why you're not getting the origin of the culture. You know what I'm saying? They want to create a new narrative for this thing. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to base it around money and record sales and all that other kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when we start talking about not being present online, it's not just not being present online. We're not present in the classroom. We're not present at what was the name of that magazine that did that awful top 100? We're not present there. You know what I'm saying? We're not present in any of these spaces that disseminate information that give these kids the real historical aspect of the culture.
And what it is too, Trey.
Take care of yourselves, fellas. Take care of yourselves. We got to start
No doubt.
spaces. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. And the thing is, Trey, is like the thing is when we growing up in Philly, I'm sure it's like this in every place. In Philly, your old head's job was to school you.
That's right.
You know what I mean? My old head, where I pull up, I wouldn't open my girl's door. My man Artie was like, "Yo, come here, man." He was like, "Yo, man, open your fucking girlfriend's door, man. Well, don't do that." You know what I mean? Like they were there to school you. So again, I feel like some of us old heads and us OGs, you know, we get into that habit of, man, fuck that. Like I was talking to Yes about, I want this to be a teaching place. I want people to be able to come on to apartment 5B, say, I don't know shit about EPMD, and walk away like, okay, I know what album I should start with. I know what songs I should look for. I want this to be the springboard. This is the GPS of where you don't know where to start with. Come check us out. We're going to lead you on that way. And that's what we have to do. Because here's the thing. I make all my decisions off of goals. It's not based off of what I want to do. It's what's the goal. And if we want the goal, if I want to make more money at work, then guess what? When they call me on the weekends, Kill, you want to work? Yes. Yes, I want to work. You know, yes, I will do that. Because then I start seeing promotions. When I start losing weight, you want to go to Cold Stones? No, I don't need to go to Cold Stones. That is not helping my goal. I want to go, but I'm not going to go. So if the goal is to make sure that our culture is passed down from generation to generation, we're going to have to do some things we don't want to do. We're going to have to talk to some young motherfuckers who are ignorant. We're going to have to talk to some of these people who may buck back at you. I'm shocked at how many young people watch this show. I'm shocked at how many young people follow me. But I really believe, but I think it's because I'm always taking these times to be like, nigga, it's almost on some, it's almost like y'all don't know what you do. Like when Jesus got you know, strung up on the cross, and I'm not saying I'm Jesus, please, nobody do it. I'm just saying that it's the example of how Jesus was like, they don't know what they do.
They don't know.
That's my attitude. Y'all don't. Yeah. And again, it's easier for me because I'm every day for 22 years in the worst hoods in DC talking to kids, trying to get them to stop doing dumb shit. So talking on Twitter to some nigga who said NOG is whack, nigga, that ain't shit to me, nigga. I just had to stop two niggas from killing themselves in Southeast. So explaining to this nigga over here, NOG isn't whack. It's like a walk in the park for me. So that's why it's never no. People like, Kill, you got the patience of Job. Nigga, do you know what I do for a living? Like, so trying to convince somebody EPMD is dope ain't shit compared to what. My man just got shot twice in his head 2 weeks. And this nigga called me the other day like, nigga, come see me in the hospital. Going to see this nigga in the hospital was the hardest thing I had to fucking do. So coming on Twitter and convincing somebody that Run DMC is our legends, man, it's a vacation from what I have to do every day. What were you gonna say, Bag?
I was gonna say one piece of media that's good for anybody who wants to learn the origins of hip hop is the evolution of hip hop on Netflix.
Yeah,
they literally track beat for beat the origins of hip hop, and they go from every region. You know what I'm saying? It's excellent. You know, it's excellent journalism, and it's the best way to me because I had to. This dude had asked me about that before. He was like, you know, I know a little bit about hip hop, but you know, what should I listen to and shit like that? You know, niggas like us, we like nigga shit. I know, like, you don't have enough time for me to tell you everything. Right? But I always point people to that because I watched it, and you know, we had, so we looking like, yeah, they gonna have Grandmaster. Right. They got Grandmaster Gas, okay. You know what I'm saying? Right. When they went to Philly and they got Schoolie D. I didn't even know the brother was still here with us. That was the first time I seen him in years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he looked good. He still looked young.
And he's 60. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So I think like pointing people to that, if you don't have the time to explain everything, it's like the perfect run through of the history of hip hop, where at least you can come out informed in some way, shape, or form. And even when you go press play on the music, Now you have the context to say, oh, now I see why this was so hot back then.
Right.
And the thing is also changing the mindset, because what the younger generation likes to do is they like to watch the evolution of hip hop and then come tell you what the fuck is going on. That's the problem. Like, whereas me, I watch the Temptations, then I call my mom like with a million questions. I don't call her like, yeah, I bet you ain't no David Ruffin. It's like, no, well, did this happen? Or did that? And I'm always telling people, it's great that y'all read books. I applaud y'all. It's great that you'll watch the documentaries. Then you need to come talk to an OG.
Yep.
Right.
And then that completes the cipher. But reading a book, for context, but reading the book and then coming on the Twitter to challenge the OG, that's not it.
Yeah,
that's not that. Like, I would never call my mother like trying to school her on the Marvelettes, or you don't know shit about Smokey Robinson. Nigga, she lived through it. Yes, she does. So again, it's like that's the partnership of the two. Read the book, read the documentary, then complete the cipher by getting with your old head. Yeah, we gotta do something like that. So yo, tell me this. You got a mixtape, 12 EPMD songs. What's making your mixtape? I got Strictly Business. You gotta chill. It's my thing. So what you're saying? Total Chaos. Please listen to my demo. Gold Digger. Crossover. Headbanger. Give the people what they want. The remix. The First Jane. And I'm mad. Those are my 12 joints that gotta make my EPMD mixtape. Yes. What you got for your EPMD mixtape, man?
All right, we're gonna go with start off with Boondocks. Then we're gonna go to the Brothers on My Jock. Then we're gonna go to Strictly Snapping Necks. Then we're gonna go to I'm Housing. Then we're gonna go to So What You Saying. Then we're gonna go to Rampage. Then we're gonna go to You Gots to Chill. Then we're gonna go to Headbanger. Then we're gonna go to Hardcore. Then we're gonna go to It's My Thing. Then Can't Hear Nothing But the Music. And last, Underground. Underground's the last joint.
Tell me this. Did y'all, when y'all heard Headbanger, were y'all like, why ain't Das on this?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I always wondered why they were on the joint coming at you. But
yeah.
then they weren't on Headbanger since it was a Hit Squad posse cut.
You know what? I mean, I loosely remember this because I was the same way. I was like, I'm gonna find the answer to this shit because it didn't make sense. They was in the video, and I think it was in an article, maybe in the source, where either they weren't signed yet or something about not being a part of.
They wasn't there yet like
yet.
that. Yeah.
When they recorded that,
I think that's
okay.
But it was disappointing because I was like, damn, just make a remix and put them on the motherfucker.
Right. Humming Coming At You was hard too.
Yeah.
That was hard too. Cal, what you got for your mixtape?
I got So What You Saying, Rampage, Headbanger, Strictly Business, Big Payback, It's My Thing, Gots to Get the People remix, Hardcore, I'm Mad, Funky Piano, and Knick Knack Paddywhack.
Knick Knack Paddywhack. That was that joint right there. That was that joint right there. That piano joint. Babe, what you got for yours?
I just pulled from the album. So Strictly Business, It's My Thing, You Got to Chill, So What You Saying, Please Listen to My Demo. I actually also had Jane, the first one. Headbanger, Scratch, Bring It Back, Crossover, Hardcore, Rampage, and Gold Digger.
All right. What about you, Var?
I have Crossover. So What You Saying? You Got to Chill, Gold Digger, Rampage. Please Listen to My Demo. I'm Housing, Headbanger, It's My Thing, and Get the People.
Yeah. Trey, what about you?
So What You Saying? You're a Customer, Rampage, Rap Is Out of Control, I'm Mad, Please Listen to My Demo, You Got to Chill, Gold Digger, Crossover, Headbanger, Knick Knack Paddywhack, and Jane 3.
This dude did Jane 3.
Three.
Put off the hey, yo, PMD said, put off that mustache, grab that ass, and I up there.
Said James 3. Yo, here's a question I want to ask you. I'm gonna talk about a couple of things and give y'all a second thing about this. I want to start doing these for Sloop Show too. If you could ask EPMD one question, what would it be? So think about that for a second, and I got some other things I want to touch on real quick. One of the other accolades, and I know I touched on it loosely, was just how important EPMD sets their albums off. You know, and that to me is an art in itself. You know, I'm sure Trey Vegas and Vern as MCs know how important it is how you set off a rhyme. I always talk about still I walk around town with a pound strap down, or J. Rue on I'm the man, I'll tap your jaw. You never heard it before. Like, it's something about the way you set off a rhyme. It's something about, so like I said, every EPMD album, you put on Strictly Business, you hit play, you hear Strictly Business. You put on Unfinished Business, you hear you hear So What You're Saying. You put on the next joint, you hear I'm Mad. You put on the last joint, you hear Boondocks. They have, and that's something again that I don't want to go unnoticed, because that's a very important thing. There are a lot of great albums that I don't feel start off incredibly well. You know, I feel like these dudes just set their albums off perfectly. A quote that I always use from EPMD, and I try to use this to teach people how much hip hop changed in 3 to 4 years. When PMD, who's one of the biggest groups ever, says on Crossover, but still I haven't seen one rapper living comfortably.
Absolutely.
But then that's in 1992, but then you fast forward to 1996, and now we got MTV Cribs.
Right.
Well,
You know what I mean?
What that's all about.
We're talking about Tip in The Source when Midnight Marauders dropped. One of the biggest groups at the time. Still living. He said when he got his check from Midnight Marauders, he had to decide, was he going to get a 3 1/4 BMW or move out his mother's house in Queens. He got the 3 1/4 BMW. So at Midnight Marauders, Q-Tip is sleeping in a twin bed in his sister's room. Think about that you're coming on tour as one of the biggest rap groups in the world, and you are going home to sleep on your mother's twin bed. I mean, your sister's twin bed at your mother's house in Queens. Think about EPMD. I mean, not EPMD, Gangstar, one of the biggest stars groups in the world, was living with Branford Marsalis' family in Brooklyn in their basement. I still need to ask them about that. How the hell did you live with Branford Marsalis, his wife, and his children? This is Gangstar. This is Weed. This is 40s. This is J. Rue the Damager. This is the group home. How did y'all live with Branford Marsalis? Like, really think about that for a second. Branford Marsalis with the fucking group Gangstar Foundation hanging out in your basement? How did that happen?
Hey, Branford from down here, so he's bout it.
Well, he could be about it all day. I don't know if his wife bout it with all these niggas blunts and 40s and niggas with 40 belows on in my crib. You know, I don't know about that. If he just lived with Branford, I'm not tripping. His family, okay? Like, T is cool, but guess what? Group home ain't coming to stay with us. Like, it's not. They're just not. Like, okay?
How long they staying?
You know. So just to talk about how you could be at the top of the hip hop game in 1994 and still not have the money to, you know, reflect what people think that fame looks like. But then once we get into the bad boy shiny suit era, you know, like what the mad rapper say, y'all got bitches and fish tanks on your videos and everything like that. You know, like that line, no matter how many times I hear Crossover, that still I haven't seen one rapper living comfortably, just always stood out to me, because that was just, to me, that was like a timestamp of where hip hop was financially at that time. You know what I mean? And then my last quote that I always loved from them was from James. She's fly, haircut like Anita Baker, looked up and down and said, I'll take it. And then Ill and Out Scratch used that joint for the I'll Take It joint. So definitely a dope. Yep. All right, so if y'all have one question, and I forgot one more thing. I have a magazine, I can't find it. It's a magazine called Big Daddy. It's a UK magazine. Biz is on the cover. And Biz, this goes back to the production credit thing. Biz is in this magazine saying that he produced EPMD's first album because he said he gave Eric and Parrish all the records to use.
I've heard Eric say that too. That's not produced, but I've heard that Eric said that Biz
he got the records right.
Wow.
So again, and like Trey made a great point, everybody has a different word for producer, you know. So for me, I never want to take records from people. Like I could tell you in producing all my years, I've only done it like 5 times when somebody's like, Kill, make a beat with this, because I just can't do that. I'm like, if the record doesn't speak to me, I can't do that. That's just like when they be doing them Russian roulettes and they put a blindfold on and you just grab a record, you could you give me an F from the door. I can't make it like that. Like you give me an F, I fail, nigga. Like I'll try, but if the sample ain't speaking to me, I just can't. You know what I mean? I can't do it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so that was big. So if y'all could ask EPMD one question, yes, what would it be?
I mean, it's got to be why y'all destroyed everything that y'all built. Why did that breakup happen? We spoke on it earlier. That shit is horrible and terrible part of hip hop history. That breakup. Yeah. So I mean, even though we kind of, sort of heard things here and there, I ain't really looking for the reason why. I just have to say why, because it ruined. I mean, it ruined other cats. You know, the cats that split off for PMD. Yeah, you know. I mean, if they'd have stayed together, who knows how many more albums you'd have got. You know what I mean? To continue that run. So I'd have to ask him about the breakup. Why did that have to happen?
All right, Kel, what about you?
What happened with Craig Mack? Why he was supposed to be part of the hit squad and they let him go. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard that too. Veg, what about you?
I would ask them. I guess it's like a 2-part question, still connected. What makes their production? What separated their production from the rest of the producers at the time? Because I think that's what I liked the most about EPMD. They just felt unique compared to everyone else, and the production played a big role in that.
Right.
So you know, I would definitely answer that, because I wouldn't ask them about I thought about the breakup, but when they were on Drink Champs and Eric Sermon kept over talking Paris, I was like, we ain't gonna never learn what the fuck happened.
Right? Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, you're right.
I think it's one of them things like you can't speak, or like it's almost like if we trying to get back, like Veg, if I got you robbed and somehow, some way we were able to come back together and keep making music, that would be the last thing I would ever want to talk. It's almost like cheating on your wife and she forgives you. Like you don't want niggas at the barbecue like, hey, you didn't kill, I see you at like and we like we in counseling, nigga, and you want to come up in here and ask about just keep it on the low. Like look at me in my eyes. This ain't the time to be asking that question. So I think that's the piece. I think it's just one of those things. But again, it's how, you know, my initial question would be, of course, Eric, how did you get robbed? Paris robbed? Like what happened? Like did that nigga like cheat? Did that nigga get you robbed? Did he fuck your girl? Like what happened? And is that true? What happened and everything like that? But I think my initial question would be similar to Veg. I just want to know how you guys came up with the track listings. Like, how do you have it where every album just takes you from 0 to 60? Like, whose idea was that? Was that planned on purpose? Like, how did you do that? Because I don't know too many other albums that I can say in people's discography. Like, once I hit play, it's just off to the races every single time.
Well, I know one that's related, and it speaks to what we were talking about earlier, but I feel like that trend was continued on Redman albums.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because Redman albums tend to start like that, and then all of a sudden there's an intro afterwards, and you're like, oh, shit.
Right.
So it might have been Eric Sermon, or it just might have been a group thing, and he just took it.
And kept running with it.
Right.
Yeah. Vern, what about you?
I'm asking who was doing that production.
I want some videos. I want to see
who was programming the SP12 and pushing buttons. That's what I want to know. Who was pushing fucking buttons and making the finished product? That's what I want to know. Because it was, you know, in that era, man, the production didn't sound like nobody else. And you hit on it earlier, like over here in Cali, just because of that sound, we heard that shit a lot. We love that shit because big trunk action and all the beating shit in the trunks has been over here for the longest since I've been growing up. Niggas didn't know what the fuck X-Claire was talking about, but I heard it thoroughly. You understand?
Right.
Same with EPMD, but it was way more consistent because you know, you can understand them and they shit was hitting a certain way. So I really would like to know what inspired that production and who was actually doing the shit.
Right.
Which we all know who was really doing it. But I just want to sit there and say.
He like, I want to hear Pat say that shit. Trey, what about you, bro?
So this is an apartment 5B exclusive. I would like to know what was the determining factor, even though I'm gravy with how things have turned out, but what was the determining factor between you choosing Keith Murray over me? Because that was
This is exclusive.
okay.
Exclusive.
So from what my management told me at the time, this is 1994. Eric Sherman came down and saw a performance. I did this joint called "I Walk Away from the Bullshit," and so after it was a whole show. But from what I understand, that was the song that was like, oh yeah, you know. So we started a negotiation. You know what I'm saying? They're about to bring me into, you know what I'm saying, the Hit Squad. You know what I mean? So from what I understand, it came down to me and Keith Murray. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then, you know, the rest is history. So I would like to know, why did you choose Keith Murray over me? What was the thing that made you choose Keith Murray over me?
That is a 5B exclusive, bro. The bottom part is most people don't want to do that. One of my homegirls, like, she didn't get this job she interviewed for. I was like, well, did you call back and ask why you didn't get it? And she was like, niggas do that, kill. I was like, I do it. Because I want to keep it a buck, like, you know, and I called jobs and be like, what happened? They're like, oh, well, you didn't have this experience, or we didn't like the way you answered. I'm like, I want to better myself, so I'm looking for a job. So what was it? Did I fuck up? Was it the way I dressed? You know, and every time I've done it twice, and both times I've done it, both people have been shocked. Like, I've never been asked that question before. Like, you know, why I've never been asked that question, you know, but because one job I really, really, really wanted, and I went in there and I like knocked it out the park, and it was like, the only thing is it's for a job coordinator, and you've done all this great work with youth, but you've never connected them with jobs, and that's what this position would be. And I'm like, okay, cool, that makes sense. I just wanted to make sure. They was like, nah, you interviewed well and blah 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 blah, but you just didn't have that. You know what I mean? So that is a good question.
Shout out to Keith Murray, because that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I was just curious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things turned out the way they were supposed to, but I'm just curious. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's a good question. Real quick, funny Keith Murray story. Most beautifulest thing in the world just came out. It's the biggest song in the fucking world. We got an interview with him up at 889. It's a Friday. He comes up at 5 to do the interview. The pre-production studio is doing a pre-recorded recording. So we're like, oh shit, we gotta this nigga is gonna have to wait here for an hour. Okay, now this is Keith Murray, razor blade under the tongue. You know, he's got his girl with him. You know, niggas love to show off in front of their girl. So it's already like, yo, it's about to be a hot hell fucking mess in here. Like, niggas is gonna be throwing chairs. He's gonna be wilding the fuck out. It's like, yo, draw straws. Who's gonna tell this nigga he gotta wait for a fucking hour? I was like, yo, Keith, man, yo, look, man, I apologize. We recording some da. He was like, it's all good, bro. I can see a new source. That nigga sat down, kicked it with us for an hour, did the interview. After the interview, he stayed, he rhymed over my beats and did drops, and it was just the craziest thing, because it was the exact opposite of what I was like, yo, how am I gonna explain to Lawrence that a fucking chair just flew out the fucking window? Like, Strictly Hip Hop's about to get canceled. Like, you know, this nigga's gonna snuff all of us and rob us and fucking, you know, walk away, be like, yeah, see how I treat these niggas for shorty, you know. Niggas with they girls, man. Something about niggas from the hood, when they girls are with them, like, they really gotta show up. But yo, just literally one of the coolest interviews ever. Like, it just was cool as hell. And he would have had every right to get this, because we fucked up the schedule. You know what I mean? So he would have had every right to wild out, and he didn't. So Dope Show, everybody, please go out, do your homework on EPMD. You've got your GPS, you've got your albums, where to start, you've got your songs, you've learned all about the history. Definitely top 5 group of all time. So if you love hip hop and you love the culture, to me, this is where you have to start doing your homework to figure these things out. Vegas, tell them everything. Where can they get at you, good brother?
All right, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm not dancing at Vegas World. Do I look like I'm on that motherfucker like this? At Vegas, if I had a daughter, I probably would. I ain't gonna at Vegas World, INC, and check out my podcast, Hip Hop Now Podcast, the weekly hip hop news podcast, along with another podcast I have with Yentz called Hip Hop Twitter. He brings up all this crazy shit that people say that I haven't seen, and I react in real time. And sometimes I think the motherfucker's lying, but he's not.
Bro, some of the shit you see out here on Twitter is wild shit, bro. Man, wild as hell, man. Vern, tell them everything, brother. Where can they get at him? And then after that, talk a little bit about Idle Mind.
What up, Vern, on most social media platforms, and then the links that's connected to that leads to everything connected to me. I don't mind. It's been fun, man. We started it when Kill was out in LA this last time. I didn't get to connect with him, but we talked on the phone quite a bit, and it's just fun, man. It went from 5 to 8 to now 10, and we're just working up into the deadline, which is June. I'm gonna say June 17th, June 18th in the morning at least, and we'll get it out to you via Bandcamp, via DistroKid, and all the DSPs and all that. It's if you follow my music, it's gonna give you something to think about and give you some bars at the same time.
Yeah, no doubt. So check it out. What is it? griovrn.bandcamp.com. You can do pre-orders right now. So yeah, definitely check that out. This is and it's gonna be dope. Vegas is the only guest on the album on the promo joint we got out right now called The Drift. So just very, very. We had a dope promo video for it, but it was the scene in Snowfall where they're shooting at each other's cars. The young girl gets killed, and just after everything that happened with the violence at the school, we just felt like it just wasn't the right time for that. So we took that down, and Vern was able to shoot something really quick just to get something out. So that's with that. But definitely check that out. Trey, where can they get at you, good brother?
Let's see, IG and TikTok is Tracy Lee ESQ, TraceYLeeESQ. You can get at me on the website, TracyLeeMusic.com. That's TraceYlee music.com. You can get at me on Twitter at Trey Lee, TRAYLEE. And on YouTube, that's at Left LLEFT TV. That's left spelled with 2 L's, LLEFT TV. And stay tuned for, new single I'm going to drop called Cacao, you know what I'm saying, that I just started pushing really today. So, just be on the lookout for that and a project coming in the fall, you know what I'm saying?
All right. No doubt. Now, we can't talk about schooling people to hip hop without talking about his wife's book, Hip Hop, You Don't Stop, Lori Nelson Lee. I always tell them, if you have kids and you love hip hop, how do your kids not know about hip hop? And there's a lot of people I know who have kids that don't know shit about hip hop. Okay? Not judging people as parents, but nigga, if you love hip hop, your kids need to know something about hip hop. So people always ask me, how can you teach them young? This is a great book that starts off with how you can teach them young, how they can learn about hip hop, how you can raise them up to love the culture. So definitely check this out. Grab it at Amazon. Lori Nelson Lee, just look it up like that. Hip Hop Don't Stop. So definitely check that out. Kel, where can they get at you, good brother?
On Instagram at Big Kel and on Twitter at Kelvin Davis Sr. So,
Right. And yes, where can they get at you, brother?
At It's Yentz. And like Vegas said, Hip Hop Twitter, season 2 is already started. We got season 1. We moved everything from his hip hop Twitter feed over to Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We everywhere that you can get your podcast. We got merch. we got t-shirts. We got cups. We got stickers. All that. Vegas got all that going on in regards to the show. Come check us out, man. We have a ball doing it, and I think everybody who listens will like it. So that's it.
All right, no doubt. You already know it is with me, Kill889, Twitter, IG. Again, just doubling down on Idle Mind with Vern. I really think folk are gonna fuck with this joint. I told niggas we coming for album of the year. We want our names to be listed up there. So we really putting that in. Y'all know I'm a bookworm. I always got a shout out of the book. My new book of the week is the Polo Shirt. You know, Low is All I Rock. So it's a nice, dope book. A lot of classic pieces. Yeah, a lot of classic.
Yeah, that shit is thick. God damn.
Yeah, a lot of classic pieces in here. You know, I just love going through, finding what I got, what I don't got, what I need to get. So definitely a dope book. If you're a low head, check it out right there. But I will check y'all next week, good peoples.